ladies and gentlemen, for our coverage of Albert Gallatin and Laurel Highlands this evening. Both first matchups for both of these teams. I am Rob Flockovich here with Tommy Victor at York Run Stadium. We are awaiting kickoff here. Definitely a lot of energy in the air, even though we don't have much of a crowd due to restrictions. Tommy, how's things going with you tonight?
Good. Beautiful weather. I mean, nice September evening. Two hometown teams going to go at it.
Two hometown teams, absolutely. It's good to be back. It is good to see some sports live for us, live for everybody watching. It's going to be quite interesting. Like you said, these two teams I don't believe they were supposed to initially play, but due to some other teams dropping out of a schedule, some other games being added on, this, that, and the other, there's no real structure, not as much structure, I should say, this year. They're just kind of adding games,
which I'm okay
games,
with.
Of course, yeah, meaningful games, of course. But it is interesting. We were talking before the game started, or before we started talking here. It's odd circumstances for everything this year, but it's very odd circumstances that brought these two teams together. But that is okay with us. It is always good to see the Colonials play somebody like Laurel Highlands. They have Uniontown now later in the season. Some local teams as opposed to some teams that we saw last year that we covered together in West Virginia. There was a team in Maryland, I believe. So we can get back to some of the old rivalries here and take it in a little bit that we may not have been able to see before.
Another thing that really I like about this whole thing, we don't know what to expect.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't know what to expect. I mean, nobody really knows what to expect in week one for any team, especially with everything that's going on. So it's going to be quite interesting to see both of these teams get loosened up. We have covered a game. Tommy, I don't believe you were there. I covered a game against Laurel High when Albert Gallatin played Laurel Highlands at basketball this past year, and a big story was Rodney Gallagher on the hardwood. I think everybody knows that name around this area by now. He will also be featured in this game. I believe we have him listed on our rosters as a wide receiver. Now he may be the starting quarterback for Laurel Highlands.
That's what I've heard. But I mean, 5'11", 160, and a sophomore, and I mean, getting D1 offers already, and it's really incredible to have an athlete like that in our area.
Multiple offers for both sports, mind you, as well. He has had offers, I know, on the basketball side. Now I'm just naming these off the top of my head. I know Pitt has come calling, I believe West Virginia, Ohio State. Big programs. Yeah. I mean, we're not talking D1 schools that are, kind of bottom tier. I mean, big schools. And then on the football side, same recognition. I think
Michigan.
I was going to say Michigan, I believe, has come calling Pitt, I believe, on the football side as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see his first game of his sophomore year. It'll also be interesting to see Albert Gallatin's quarterback, the first game of his, let me check the roster here.
Year.
I believe, it is his junior year, Tristan Robinson. Now we're working off of assumptions here until the game actually starts, but he was the starting man last year. It looks like we may be getting some action here finally. We've been on a little bit of delay because I actually do see the ambulance coming down the street over to our left. We are sitting on the visitor sideline, on the Laurel Highlands sideline. So that ambulance is what we were waiting for to get the game rolling. It looks like we're going to go ahead and kick it away. It is going to be Zachary Layton kicking the ball off for Laurel Highlands. Albert Gallatin will receive the first kick of the season.
For the Mustangs, number 42, Zachary Layton.
So, Tommy, let's see what we got.
Yeah.
Here we goes, the opening kickoff. Layton kicks it away. Nice kick. He was having some nice kicks in pregame. It's going to be fielded by Laurel Highlands on the left side of the field. Nice little return here all the way up. It looks like to about the 35-yard line.
That was Dylan Shea.
Dylan Shea, that's a name that we have been used to saying the past year or two. So that was a heck of a return. Hopefully Albert Gallatin can keep that good energy.
And one thing to note with the Colonials, I mean, this is just off of looking at the roster. We're going to have a similar offense to what we had last year in terms
Absolutely.
of personnel, which is a huge advantage for the Colonials.
Yeah, a lot of similar names in Antonio Effort, Bruno Fabricki, Tristan Robinson, Dylan Shea, just to name a couple off the top of my list. We could go further, but very similar nonetheless, as we have, looks like a running play to initially start the game, but gain of about 8.
44, Sean Loring of the Colonials.
That's going to be a carry for Sean Loring of Albert Gallatin. Nice little pickup. So it's going to be 2nd and 3 for Albert Gallatin. Quick gain of 7 to the left side of the field.
The Colonial offense was the highlight of their season last year. I mean, always putting up points, it seemed like.
They had a very, very efficient offense for where they have been in recent years. It was very fun to watch, very efficient all the way around. And hopefully, with that being kind of the tone setter, hopefully we're got about the same, as it's going to be another handoff to Sean Loring for Albert Gallatin. That's going to give the Colonials their first down of the game. And I will add, too, Tommy, as I'm watching Laurel Highlands set up on defense, Rodney Gallagher actually playing a little bit of a defensive back right now. He's the furthest back on the 45-yard line of the Mustangs. So Albert Gallatin back to a 1st and 10. Tristan Robinson is the quarterback under center for the Colonials.
Let's see if they try to incorporate a pass.
I would like to see a pass early, Tommy. That's definitely something that they try to, warm up to, it seems like, as Robinson keeps it on the QB sneak.
Then again, if you're getting yards, keep it on the ground.
It's very true. Very true. We can't be too picky, but I'd like to see him open up the air a little bit in week 1.
Which we know they have the weapons.
They absolutely have the weapons, yes. Absolutely have the weapons.
Last tackle on the play was number 18, Daniel Carney of the Mustangs. That's a gain of 4. Brings up
Albert Gallatin trying to get a play set up here, taking an extra couple seconds. Mustangs already set on defense. Albert Gallatin coming out now. Robinson under center. Put a man in motion, going to snap the ball. It's going to be another QB sneak. Tries to sneak up the right side, but Laurel Highlands saw right through that one.
Maybe a yard.
Yeah, Laurel Highlands saw right through that one. The tackle initially for the Mustangs was made by number 70. That's Lorenzo McFadden. He did not give Robinson too much time at all before he brought him down.
Something to note, it seems like the teams are evenly matched in size, too. I mean, doesn't seem like there's a huge advantage on the line for either team.
And since Albert Gallatin they did leave the Whippeal last year was the first year that they had left. They really did get some even competition, so it's interesting to see more of the hometown guys around us. The Fayette County teams are kind of more equally matched, but somebody that is still there that can kind of compete. Put another man in motion. Going to be a long toss to the right side, and that's Bruno Fabricki down the right sideline. He's already to the 32-yard line, makes a nice spin down to the 30. He's going to be marked down at about the 26-yard line. That was a heck of a run by Bruno Fabricki.
That's something we're used to seeing. I mean, last year he had runs like that nonstop.
He almost runs in slow motion.
Yep.
It's not all about speed, it's finding the holes. And that's definitely what he did last year. Like we said, that's another name that we're going to see again this year, making the big plays for the Colonial offense, just like we saw there. So we already have a 1st and 10 on the 26-yard line of the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Albert Gallatin putting a nice drive together initially here.
And I'll be honest, I don't think Laurel Highlands was expecting this.
I don't think they were either, Tommy. I mean, the last times these two teams saw each other, Albert Gallatin didn't have those nice wins that they got last year under their belt. So they're seeing a whole new ball. They're seeing a whole new ball team. We do have a flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be in favor of the Mustangs. False start on Albert Gallatin. That's going to back the Colonials up to the 31-yard line. Replay first down, making a 1st and 15 instead of a 1st and 10.
First down and 15 for the Colonials from the Mustang 31-yard line.
Lose 5 yards, but they do keep the down.
What's nice about this Colonial offense, and they're keeping the same mold as last year, they use a lot of clock.
They're all grit and grind. They're just chomping at the bit. They're just moving the clock, put another man in motion. That's going to be a handoff once again from Robinson. Back to Sean Loring. Very minimal game. Laurel Highlands is kind of catching on to that run game, it looks like.
Number 70 of the Mustangs.
McFadden on the tackle for the Mustangs. He is busy this evening already. All right, we have 2nd and 15. 2nd and 14, correction, from the 30-yard line.
The Laurel Highlands defense, front guys, they've been getting a solid jump on the ball. It seems like every play.
Albert Gallatin's doing a good job running the ball so far, but if they want continued success, that offensive line is definitely going to have to step up because the Mustang defensive line has come to play. They've got a couple guys in the backfield every play. It just depends like that on how quickly Robinson can get the ball out, as we have a nice run and a nice first down on the left side of the field. Number 13, Caleb Matsus-Chapman.
That's a new name I don't remember from last year.
That is a new name. That's a new name, and that's a nice introduction to the game here. Let's see, we have a referee conference here after that last play. Another flag on Albert Gallatin.
And that's going to hurt.
Illegal formation is the actual call. Albert Gallatin bringing that play right back, and that's definitely something that they need to avoid. Obviously, penalties are something every team wants to avoid, but that's 2 on a very good drive already for the Colonials, so they definitely want to tighten that up a little bit.
And that's definitely always a hazard when you run an option offense.
I mean, really
you always
is.
have to watch.
It really is. They've done a good job for the most part, but early momentum, early swings, early stops. Now you went from a first down around the 10-yard line. You're looking at a 2nd and 17 from the 34-yard line now. So you got to be careful in the first quarter of these games having issues like that. As Fabricki's up the right side once again,
just gaining yardage.
And there's another flag. I'm going to say that is on. I'm trying to see a number. I saw a little extracurricular shoving from Dylan Shea, potentially. Once again, we have a conference between the referees. We have another flag on the field.
I'm not sure how this one's going to go.
There was some pushing and shoving there. I want to say that was there was some mutual pushing and shoving. Oh,
wow.
Okay, wow, all right. So face mask from Laurel Highlands is going to really help Albert Gallatin. So, give and take.
Yeah, get the yardage back you lost.
Give and take. Albert Gallatin now has put together, now that it's still, first, second down here, because we've replayed the down so many times. But they get a nice little break. Nice little break after losing that nice pickup. They're actually going to be awarded the first down.
Wow.
Yeah, Albert Gallatin's actually going to have the first down. They're going to be down about the 17, 18-yard line, 13-yard line.
13,
actually, I take that back. I'm sorry. Robinson lines up under center. Nice little drive here from Albert Gallatin. Not as conventional, but there's another handoff to Loring. He cuts up the right side,
and
back to the left,
run.
and he's back. He's down very quickly as Albert Gallatin chips away even a little more with that run game.
Carried by number 44, Sean Loring. Tackle made by number 52 of the Mustangs.
That's another name we didn't see last year, and it looks like
I don't recall. I don't recall
junior.
That name. Yeah, junior could have been. Could have been a guy just waiting for his call, and this is it.
6'1", 235. Try to stop me.
That's a nice size. That's a nice size for, running back, fullback, especially where they're at. I mean, he's definitely, you see him walk next to Robinson there up to the line. He's definitely a lot of guy. Like, he's very stacked back.
Which is a good compliment to a lot of these quick backs that the Colonials have.
Robinson's going to snap the ball. Another handoff to Loring. He's going to blow right through the Mustang defense into the end zone. That is a touchdown, Albert Gallatin.
Yep. The power of having a big back.
The power of having a big back. That is Sean Loring on the score for the Colonials. I'll tell you, the Mustangs were all over that play, but like we were just saying, he kind of dropped a shoulder, and he was right through there.
It's impressive the momentum he gets.
Absolutely.
Just moves it through the line.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard to stop, and, I mean, he has that downhill running, I'm going to move you mentality, and that's what you need.
That's what he did, and that's why they scored. Albert Gallatin, and Al has a 6-point lead, 6-0. We'll see what we're going with. Looks like Albert Gallatin's going to attempt a 2-point conversion. I don't see a holder or a kicker for that matter, so we're going for 2 here. Puts a man in motion. Robinson's going to hand off to Loring. Looks like it might be the same play, and he's in.
Yeah.
So not only does Loring score the touchdown for the Colonials, he has scored the 2-point conversion.
And not only does he have his size in terms of his weight, but he also has the fact he's 6'1". He falls forward. There's a couple extra yards there that you're not going to get if you're a smaller
Absolutely.
back.
It's all momentum, and if he can stretch his body, that's, like you just said, that's how many more yards. With 5:54 left in the first quarter, we are looking at an 8-0 Colonial lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Like you said, Tommy, Albert Gallatin getting set to kick off for the first time. I'm not too sure if the Mustangs expected this out of Albert Gallatin.
You could definitely tell.
They have a little more confidence this year going to play these guys than they did the last year.
Yeah, I mean, and
last
the
time
people,
they played,
the people at home couldn't see this or hear this, but we're on the Laurel Highlands side, and I mean, there was a lot of momentum. It seemed like coming in this game. I mean, they were fired up, ready to go, and now, I mean, the Colonials, business as usual, go down, score a touchdown.
These guys came ready to play. It definitely showed, like you said, we do sit on the Laurel Highlands side, well, the visitor sideline, Laurel Highlands sideline in this case. But I don't know if they had the level set for Albert Gallatin now that Albert Gallatin's driven down and scored. Even after the miscues with the flags, we'll see if Laurel Highlands can tighten some things up and respond.
And we're going to see another good matchup with the Colonial defense against Laurel Highlands offense. It will most likely be led by Rodney Gallagher.
And Rodney Gallagher was back to receive, but it is not him that recovers the ball. It is Matt Lucas. Goes to the right side, cuts back to the left side, can't really find anywhere to go, and he's down at the 20-yard line by the Albert Gallatin kick team.
And that looked like it was going to break for a long one for a second.
He did. He definitely had blocks there, but the holes closed quickly.
And the Mustangs will take over.
I'm equally excited to see the Mustang defense and the Colonial, or the Mustang offense and the Colonial defense on this drive.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one tonight, I think.
Yeah, I do think so. See who we have at quarterback for the Mustangs. It looks like Gallagher in there calling the plays. He's listed as a receiver, but I think it's going to be I think he's going to be the one. He has a back to either of his sides, but it looks like he's going to be the one calling the plays for the Mustangs. Yep, that is him. Puts a man in motion, handoff to the right side. Lucas is running to the right. He's trying to find a hole. He finds a little bit of one, and he's pushed out of bounds.
That's a good run.
That is a good run. That's a good run to start first down. That's a good foundation. That's a good foundation, but Dylan Shea chased him down, pushes him out of bounds. That's going to bring up a second down. That's going to bring up a second down for Laurel Highlands, but I guess it's a little deceiving, Tommy, because that was a 1 yard run after all.
Wow, I mean, from our angle, it looked like a 4 or 5 yard gain.
That was a 1 yard run after all of that. After he ran about 30 yards, he picked up one. 2nd and 9 from the Mustang 22-yard line. 5:37 left in the first quarter. Albert Gallatin has an early 8-0 lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Gallagher's going to take the snap for the Mustangs. He drops back. He's chased down and looking for somewhere to go. Lucas is going to have a nice catch.
Yeah.
Looks like Fabricki doing a little work on defense now.
And it was something how Gallagher, I mean, there was pressure. And there
were
guys chasing him that he knew. Yeah. But, I mean, he
was
wasn't
very aware.
Fazed. Yeah.
He was very aware. That's going to be an 8-yard pass for Gallagher. Brings up 3rd and 1 for the Mustangs. Already an early 3rd down for Laurel Highlands. Gallagher lines up to take another snap. Ball's back to him. He drops back. Quick handoff. Oh, that's going to be stopped up easy by the Colonial defense. I don't think he got it. Let's see where they spot the ball.
They're already saying 4th down.
I don't think he got it.
Yep.
That was a quick handoff.
And this is a tough spot early on for Laurel Highlands. I mean,
you just let Albert Gallatin march down the field, and now they have you held to a 4th down. What do you do? Clock running, 4:23 left in the first quarter. 4th and
you're
1.
at 29. I mean, and it looks like they're going to go for it.
They are going to go for it.
Big down here early on.
This would be huge for Albert Gallatin if they could get a stop here. 4th and 1. Gallagher puts a man in motion.
And they were definitely trying to get the Colonial offense.
They were definitely trying to get a jump. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it is try to get an offsides, absolutely. You take all the risk out of it and only get the reward. Gallagher's back. He's going to roll out to the right side. Albert Gallatin's all over him. And he drops the pass. He lets a pass go, and it is dropped. He lets a pass go. He had a lot of pressure.
And I'm surprised Gallagher didn't keep it there because he had the first down.
I thought he would keep it. I got a little sidetracked there watching what was going to happen next, but he rolls out to the right side. He would have had a first down had he hung on to it. Airs out a decent pass, but the receiver could not come down with it, and that's a turnover on downs. Albert Gallatin takes over on the 30-yard line of the Mustangs with 3:51 left in the first quarter.
This could be a good quarter for the Colonials.
Absolutely. Let's see if Albert Gallatin can match what they did on their earlier drive.
Oh, and Colonials take a timeout. They were definitely scrambling there.
Yeah, there was a lot of looked like mismatches there.
I think they were missing 2 linemen. From what it looked like.
It could have been. It could have been a little unbalanced line there. But Albert Gallatin's going to go ahead and take a timeout, get some things straightened out, and see what they can do as far as their next drive.
And Laurel Highlands, they're going to have a stop here where it's going to be –
They have to.
It's going to be a big gap early.
They have to because this is the same thing that we saw Albert Gallatin do last year. They get these big, quick leads, and that was it.
And their defense holds up, puts the offense in good field position, and the offense just – they score. I mean,
absolutely.
It's what they do. I mean, they're not a team that usually struggles to get first downs.
All right, getting back to action here as Robinson lines up under center. Hopefully we avoid some of these penalties this drive as well. Robinson's going to snap the ball. Going to hand off to Sean Loring once again. He's going to be busy this evening, I can tell you that already.
I mean, if you give me a guy that can give me 4 yards a carry,
that's okay.
I'll run him all day.
That's okay. Albert Gallatin chips away at that 1st and 10, makes it 2nd and 5 at the Mustang 24-yard line with that excellent field position to work with already. Taking their time to call a play, but that's okay because the clock's running and they have the lead.
Yep.
Robinson goes to line up under center. Loring, the man in the backfield. Snap, handoff to the left side to Loring, and he is plowing through Mustang defenders as he picks up a first down for the Colonials. Tommy, that's some nice running.
I mean, he just accelerates through.
That's some nice running.
They may not have to pass it all tonight. I mean,
he's a very stocky stature guy, 6'1", what would we say, 235?
235,
Sounds right, yeah. But, boy, he's trucking through those guys and picking up some speed, I'll tell you that. Don't let that guy in the open field if you're the Mustangs.
I mean, he was one guy away from breaking that.
Yeah, don't let that guy in the open field because he's busting through that defensive line right now. Albert Gallatin going to line up for their 1st and 10 on the Mustang 14-yard line. Clock's rolling in the first quarter. It's going to be another handoff to our guy Loring, and he's got 4 Mustangs on his back
to
bring him down.
Yeah, I mean,
4 Mustangs that took 4 of them to bring him down.
He's not getting tired. I mean,
he is not.
3 carries in a row?
If he's getting tired, he's fooling us.
And they are going to take him out.
Going to change out some personnel. Yeah, Loring does come out for the Colonials. Well-deserved.
Yep, I was going to say, he deserved a little break.
Well-deserved it is. We still have 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, no doubt. So they definitely have to conserve his energy a little bit because it seems like that offense is going to be working through him for this game and probably the season.
Looks like Colonials are coming in with a couple different personnel than usual.
Yeah, we have kind of a different lineup here. It's going to be another handoff, however. Looks like it was to Dylan Shea.
Yep.
Is that Dylan Shea under there? Yeah, looks like it was Dylan Shea. Going to gain about a yard?
Something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2nd and 4 for Albert Gallatin as they chip away. Going to stick with the personnel that we saw in the last play.
Don't be surprised if they call him Bruno Fabricki here for an outside run, because I
That's
feel like they're setting it up perfect right now.
That's his specialty. Definitely looks like it. Robinson under center, putting a man in motion. It is Fabricki. It's a handoff to Fabricki. He's going to weave his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Albert Gallatin. Well, Tommy, you had a good call on that one because there was what was supposed to be an outside run to Fabricki. He kind of improvised a little bit, but Laurel Highlands here already down 14-0 in the first quarter. This is a heck of a performance for the Colonials.
And I'll be honest, the Colonials are making it look easy. I mean,
they really are.
I mean, they really have. The only time the defense is on stalled, it's been on penalties.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're definitely their offense is stalled on penalties, but then the Mustangs handed it right back. Albert Gallatin going to stick with the 2-point conversion situation. I do see Loring back in the backfield for the Colonials, so you took a guess on the last play. I'm going to guess it's a handoff to Loring, which it is, and he plows through. He is plowing through the Mustang defenders for the 2-point conversion.
It's just
16-0.
This
Albert
team's
Gallatin.
fun to watch. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, they impressed me last year, and this year it's even better.
For how long these, the school, the fans, everybody, you name it. I mean, we're alumni. We were in the heat of it. For how long we had to watch football not do so hot here. This is definitely fun to watch. 16-0. Albert Gallatin controls the game with 57 seconds left in the first quarter. Tommy, this Laurel Highlands sideline that we're sitting on, they're looking
quiet.
A little stunned.
They're quiet.
They're looking a little stunned. Like we said, since Albert Gallatin left the whippy, last time they played these guys, they did not look like this.
Not at all. What's neat is without fans, we can hear the
conversations. Yeah. Albert Gallatin getting set to kick off once again. Gallagher and Lucas back deep for the Mustangs to receive the ball. And a bit of a higher kickoff. Yeah. That's a nice kickoff. It's going to be received by Lucas of the Mustangs, and he's into some trouble trying to improvise, and he's down once again at the 20-yard line. He recognizes that trouble, but the Colonial kick team, they're blowing up the holes.
Tyler Frizzle. I thought for a second he was going to crash in too much, and the corner was going to be wide open, but he recovered nicely and saw.
That's the last thing the Mustangs would need at this point.
That Lucas was going to cut out. He he fell back and took care of his job.
Absolutely. Lucas is definitely moving around well back there, but he's just not getting the holes that he needs to get past the 20-yard line, especially whenever the Colonials kick team is putting the ball down there pretty well.
He's made his own separation if he's had any.
Absolutely. The first kick by Albert Gallatin was more of a line drive, wasn't too much air to it, but that second one, that was a nice kick. Loring's going to get busy on defense now, it looks like, as he brings down the Mustang ball runner after about 2 yards.
Let's see if they try to get one more play off before the end of the quarter.
We're rolling at about 26 seconds left in the first quarter. 16-0 Albert Gallatin Colonial lead.
Looks like they're going to try it, which, if I was down 16 points, I'd want to get the most out of the clock.
Absolutely. Plenty of time here. We're going to play about 15 seconds and counting. The Mustangs line up. Snap back, handoff. And that's going to be a quick drop. That was O'Neill on the run for the Mustangs.
Looks like Dylan Shea on the stop.
That was Thomas, correction.
Yep.
And that is the last play of the first quarter. So they did get one off, but no gain. I take that back, a 2-yard gain. 3rd and 7 for the Mustangs whenever we come back. It is the end of the first quarter. 16-0 Albert Gallatin lead. We'll see what the Mustangs do with already their 3rd and 7. Their first possession ended in a 4th and 1. Looking at another 4th down right here.
And I feel like if you're calling the plays for Laurel Highlands, you have to be looking at some type of pass play or pass run option or something. give the ball to Gallagher, let him make the decision, let him try to get a first down that you desperately need.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, on the basketball court and on the football field, it appears that he's the secret weapon, quote unquote. So I think it's time to potentially use him here as the Mustangs face a 16-0 deficit going into the second quarter.
It looks like they changed it back to 3rd and 9, so it wasn't a game.
Oh, it was? Yeah. Okay. Good call on the correction. So we got a 3rd and 9 from the 22-yard line. Laurel Highlands facing another 4th down. I see, Tommy, we're not by ourselves. The other people covering the game are on the Laurel Highlands side, but I see some Laurel Highlands fans. They're on the other side of the gate watching on the hillside. That's going to be a big lapse for Albert Gallatin. That's going to be a false start on the Colonials. Looks like it is number 58, Christian Stout.
5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Now it's 3rd and 4, and Colonials can't afford another mistake.
They cannot afford another mistake, and a 3rd and 4 is much more manageable for the Mustangs. So let's see if Laurel Highlands gets a little creative here or if they stick to the drawing board and have some success. 3rd and 4 from the 27-yard line. We start the second quarter. Gallagher snaps, puts a man in motion. Oh, we got some more. We have some more whistles here.
Before the snap, false start on the offense.
And there's another miscue for the Mustangs.
Go back to where we started. Yep.
We're going to go right back to where we were a couple seconds ago. Replay 3rd and 9 instead of 3rd and 4. So Mustangs have success drawing the Colonial offsides, but then the Mustangs
give it right back.
Are offsides themselves. So let's see, we got 3rd and 9 once again from the 22. Still haven't started the clock for the second quarter, so we're at a fresh 12 minutes. Gallagher back, has a man to his right. He's going to drop back, and here's going to be this is going to be a pass as he faces some Colonial pressure. There's 3 men in the backfield looking for a sack, and they're going to get it. There's a huge sack by Dylan Shea for the Colonials. Gallagher's dropped inside the 5-yard line after they started at the 22. That was an excellent play by the Colonial defense. They were all over the Mustangs. I saw at least 4 black shirts in the backfield of the Mustangs.
There was nothing you could do. His receivers weren't open. I mean,
it was a blanket out there. If the Colonial defense wasn't covering a receiver, they were chasing Gallagher in the backfield.
That was the worst nightmare for the Mustangs right now.
Absolutely. Now we're going to have 42 Zachary Layton see some action again. Looks like he's going to try to punt. Watch for a fake here potentially.
Oh, almost blocked.
It away. It was very close to being blocked. And that ball is going to take a nice bounce in the favor of the Colonials. I don't know if I've ever seen a football almost stop completely, but that is the case. 11:04 in the second quarter. Albert Gallatin's going to take over with a 1st and 10 on the Mustang 41-yard line.
And that's the thing, another short field for this Colonial offense.
Tommy, Laurel Highlands hasn't seen the Colonial side of the field, and Albert Gallatin has only started on the Mustang. Yeah. Well, I take that back. The first drive of the game, they started in their own territory, but they've started in Mustang territory every time since. Albert Gallatin getting set to take back over. Look for more of Layton, and that's what we're going to get. There's a nice handoff to Layton on the right side. He is all the way down to the 25-yard line.
I'm ready. I cannot wait to see his stats for the end of
this is going to be a good one. First down, Albert Gallatin. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. That's a quick 16-yard gain from Layton after he blew through the Mustang defensive line once again.
And right now, the Mustangs don't have an answer for anything.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, the Mustangs on offense run pass, that's been stopped to a T.
Yep.
Albert Gallatin's going to try to add on to that early lead. Robinson snaps the ball. It's off to Loring again, and he's up the right side. And that's another couple yards.
Hey, I don't know if you noticed, Robbie, but they had everyone up. They didn't have a safety back. I mean, they had.
What are you going to do?
I mean,
what
and
are you going to do? Yeah.
they're blitzing hard there, and he's still getting yards. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable.
They're just playing to what they're expecting,
Yeah.
and that's what you do.
From the Mustang 20-yard.
I mean, you could only do so much as a defense, and I mean, their scheme right now it's lining up to try
It's
to stop a
perfect.
run down the
Yeah.
middle. I mean, it's just
Let's see here. I want to pay attention to that. Yeah, they have no one back.
Yeah.
No one back.
that's I mean,
Well, they have
Gallagher's
Rodney
back
Gallagher
now.
back now. I thought he was. He seemed to be pulling up a little bit, but let's see. I'll keep an eye on him as Robinson goes to snap the ball. It's going to be handoff to the left to Loring, and he's going to drive ahead for another couple yards.
That's gonna bring up.
Gallagher
Oh,
did-
he got the first.
Did he get the first down?
So, oh no, that
Carrying the ball, number 44, Sean Loring. Tackle made by number 18.
There goes the
Yeah.
chains. There goes the chains. That was another gain.
and that run, at least from where we're at, it didn't look like that was going to be a first down.
That was nothing
I mean,
special, but
he
what
got
else do
it,
you
yeah.
need?
Always place at the
What else do you
15-yard line
need?
of the
10
Mustangs.
minutes and counting in the second quarter. 1st and 10. Ball on the 15-yard line of the Mustangs. Albert Gallatin putting together another nice drive. Robinson under center again here. There goes that motion man, and we got a lot of movement. I think that's on the Mustangs
Yeah,
this
that's going to be
time.
encroachment, I think.
I think it's going to be encroachment on that left side of the Mustang defense. Looks like Albert Gallatin might be getting in there a little mentally now.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's going to be encroachment on Thomas of the Mustangs, number 7, which moves the Colonials even farther with the 1st and 5 from now the 10-yard line. They already hold a 16-0 lead over the Mustangs.
You know, if I'm the Colonials, I'm just going to keep putting it down the middle. And,
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I mean,
Looks like Lowry's out of the game now, so we'll see how that.
Yeah. You keep putting it down the middle. I think Laurel Highlands is stunned as we look at an outside run from Bricky, but that's nothing. Nothing new either.
And
That's gonna be
those two complement each other.
Yes.
I mean, it's a good.
Carrying the ball, number 2, Bruce.
Good
it's a good,
system, yeah.
it's a good, if you will, 1st and 2nd down guy, and then like a 3rd down back, if you will.
And it looks like a gain of a yard on the play.
Still picked up a yard though. It looked like he could have been stopped short. We're going to be
Second down and 4 for the
2nd and 4 from the 9-yard line. Albert Gallatin lining up.
Lowry's back in the game. Loring, I'm sorry.
Oh,
wow.
We have another stoppage of play, which negated a for sure Albert Gallatin touchdown.
Without a doubt.
Start on the offense.
That's a
And
shame because
handed it right back,
Gallagher
yep.
bid on that run. I mean,
Yep.
I think that was Dylan Shea in the end zone.
I believe it
Wide
was.
open.
I believe it was. He bit. He was wide open, and Tristan Robinson, unfortunately, is going to go back to no passing.
Yep.
Yes, he would have been 1 for 1 with 1 touchdown.
Pretty good stat line. I mean,
Not bad. Not bad. If they keep running it, that's okay to finish that.
Yeah.
We got 2nd and 9 to work with now from the 14-yard line. Clock's rolling on that second quarter. And we're back to Loring. He drives to the right side, and that's going to be a nice gain. It's going to be close,
Yep.
Tommy. Looks like it's going to be a little short. 3rd down for Albert Gallatin.
Tackle made by number 10, Brian Yorchie.
Even if they don't score on this drive, Tommy, they have almost taken half of the second quarter already.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing with, you had a touchdown wiped off the board. I mean, hypothetically.
Hypothetically, yeah.
I mean, you can see that you can get your receivers open now, too.
Absolutely. That gives you a lot of confidence to see that, one of the toughest guys on the field for the Mustangs bit at, what would have been a fake to open it up a little bit. So it gets a little more vulnerability in there for the Mustang defense.
I'm not sure I don't know what that was.
Yeah, we
And it's
we
a 3rd down
we
and
had some
5 for the
whistles.
Colonials.
Maybe they needed to let the clock run down a little bit or something like that. I noticed the clock is running, so I'm not too sure. But nonetheless, 3rd and 5. I would assume we're going through Loring on the 3rd and short here. Robinson's going to hand off the ball to Loring,
Yep.
and he trucks right through to the end zone. Touchdown, Albert Gallatin.
Wow.
Sean Loring of the Colonials.
And that's another score for the Colonials.
This is impressive. I mean, it's just, wow.
Your score now, Albert Gallatin,
Well, he
22,
scored
Laurel
twice,
0.
and
7:03
he
left
has
in the half.
So he scored
He has
twice.
to have 100 yards.
And he has every 2-point conversion.
Yep.
So there was one touchdown he did not score. It was for Bricky on a run, but would have went to the outside. But then Loring came in and finished the job and got the 2-point conversion. So he's a busy man.
Yeah.
Let's see if he gets the 2-point conversion again. I wouldn't see why not as he stands in the backfield.
And all that's been done in 18 minutes of play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be a cool keeper from Robinson. See, now they can start to play with the Mustang defense a little bit because they ran Loring as a front blocker for Robinson because they're expecting Loring to get the ball. Everybody follows Loring. Robinson sneaks right into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Albert Gallatin now holds a 24-0 lead with 7 minutes and 3 seconds left in the second quarter.
It's unbelievable.
Against
I would not have
Crosstown.
expected this.
Oh, absolutely not.
I mean, you look at these programs,
24-0.
2-3 years ago?
Oh,
you
my
told me
gosh.
this?
Oh,
I
my
mean,
gosh.
Okay.
Well, it's like we talked about from the get-go. You know, if you're a Laurel Highlands and you haven't seen these guys for, what will be, I mean, chronologically, think about 3 years now because played each other, then a year went by, didn't play each other, now another year's gone by, and here we are. You're not going to expect this.
No, not at all.
I mean, there's such thing as week one jitters, but I mean, 24-0 in the second quarter, they would have tightened it up by now.
And I mean, let's be honest, it's also week one for the Colonials.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
no excuses in that.
Well, you see him clean up those early flags.
Yeah.
You see some stuff like that.
Which, I mean, you could tell it was the first game. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, both teams have to deal with it.
Albert Gallatin going to go ahead and kick the ball away again, as they have been. Going to be kicked. See, it was a little lower, but still effective. Rodney Gallagher is going to field the ball for the Colonials. Almost brought down in the back. Albert Gallatin chasing him. This is where he could hurt Albert Gallatin
And
with his
they contained
speed,
him.
but they did collapse on the runner. That's the biggest thing that they need to do, Albert Gallatin, whenever Gallagher's in the open field like that, is contain him.
Because he is a playmaker. I mean,
He's
he
a
has
playmaker.
he hasn't made a real splash tonight, but you can
He
see
has
with
the
glimpse
tools,
like that. Yeah,
he has
I mean,
the tools, absolutely. The Mustangs are now going to start on the 21-yard line, a little bit better than the 20 yards they've been starting on.
51 left at half.
Mustang's going to come up and try to get something going on offense.
I feel like they're going to have to start passing more.
I would say so. I would say so, but the passes that they haven't been very effective either. We have not seen that nearly as much, so it's a little bit biased as Gallagher hands off to the left side. And Albert Gallatin defense is all over that one.
And I mean, let's be honest, the Colonial defense, they've put a ton of pressure on Gallagher.
They really have. You look at that kick return. You look on defense when they're giving him the fakes. You look in the backfield when they had that nice sack their last possession. They're definitely focusing on him as much as they have been anybody else.
And a gain of 3 on the play brings up 2nd down and 7 for the Mustangs. Ball places the 24-yard line of Laurel Highlands.
Gallagher lining back up. He's in the shotgun. He's mostly been in the shotgun as Robinson's mostly been under center. It's going to be another quick handoff. Nice little gain for the Mustangs, but the carrier is going to be brought down. That is Thomas by the Mustangs. Going to bring up yet another 3rd down for the Mustangs.
And it looks like it's probably going to be like a 3rd and
I'm going to say about a 3rd and 2. Third and 2,
yeah.
It looks like on the scoreboard. Looks like a 3rd and 2 from the 29-yard line from their own 29-yard line, I should say. This would just be a catastrophe for the Mustangs.
I knew a timeout was coming.
There's a timeout, yes. Timeout, Laurel Highlands. If they can't get this first out, Tommy, this is – they're already in a heck of a lot of trouble. But
it's like, do you go for it?
This is going to be catastrophic. I don't think you have another choice.
No.
How can you say this becomes 4th down, hypothetically? How can you down 24 points in the second quarter? How can you get rid of the ball?
True, but then how can you hand the – Colonial offense hasn't had a bad drive. There's no win-win if you don't get the first down here.
No, not if you're the Mustangs.
There's not a good outcome.
Now, if you get Albert Gallatin, you let him pick up a first down, you still hold a 24-0 lead.
Yeah.
And if you hold them, you take over on the 29-yard line yet again. I think that's where they started that previous drive when the Mustangs got stopped on a 4th and 1.
And what the Mustangs have to avoid is a sack or a tackle for a loss.
Absolutely.
Something. Yeah, I mean, because you want to be in a spot to where 4th down is still an option.
If you're on 3rd and 2, the most you can start behind the line on a 4th down is 2 yards to go. Gallagher's looking at what he's got. He's under center. He's got 2 men in the backfield. Snaps the ball. It's going to be a toss to the right side. It's going to be a nice run for Laurel Highlands. I think he's just going to get there.
And carried number 7, Chanel Thomas, tackle.
Fourth
Thomas
down.
on another run. They did not get there. It is another 4th down
And,
for the
you
Mustangs.
know, I couldn't tell because it almost looked like the Mustangs were going to get a second wind on the sideline, and it looked like they were going to get a little bit of a push. But I think he got drawn out of bounds and ran out of space.
Yep, it appeared so. I mean, it was like down on the opposite end of the field in the first quarter. You know, you run 30 yards to gain 1, and that's exactly what happened again. It's 4th and 1 from the 30-yard line. Laurel Highlands going forward on 4th. Would strongly assume that they're going to try to draw the Colonials offsides here. Gallagher drops back. He's going to air it out. He's got pressure in his face all over him. He's going to find a wide open receiver in Christian Burchick.
Yeah.
That was great awareness by Gallagher and great awareness by Burchick.
And I don't know, the Colonial defense, I mean, there was nobody in the middle.
There was nobody
I don't
in the
understand.
middle. Now, I don't know if they focused too much on Gallagher. I was focusing on the
Yeah, I
backfield.
was too, yeah.
At the same time, however, you know, if Burchick, you know, he thinks about it, they're all focusing there. Well, I'm just going to run over here.
Well, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
The safeties were dropped back. I mean,
Gallagher has more than enough IQ that he, you know, can evade that, and as we saw hit him, you know, Burchick just got to match it. He says, well, I'll just go over here if everybody else is over there, as Laurel Highlands runs another run play out to the left side, and that was almost gone. That was a nice run
and
by
those are 2 big
DeMonte
plays.
Kiss. Yeah, that's 2 big plays for the Mustangs. They might have found something to get the ball rolling a little bit here.
And these last 2 play calls haven't been what has been called previously. I mean,
no, absolutely not. They're getting a little out of their what appeared to be their comfort zone, but it's working for the Mustangs.
Late hit out of bounds on the defense. 15-yard penalty.
And they're going to call a late hit on the Albert Gallatin defense since that play did run to the left side, so that's going to help Laurel Highlands out even a little bit more than it did.
I mean, if you're Laurel Highlands, you're going to keep up this play calling because, I mean, it's working. I mean, 2 plays.
Absolutely.
You've gained more than you did the entire game so far.
Absolutely. This is the most efficient they've been the entire game.
1st and 10, 4:22 left in a half.
Let's see what Gallagher can do now as he drops back to pass. He was in the shotgun. Colonial pressure forcing him to the left once again. There is a flag deep.
That's going to be a hold.
That's going to be a hold. Yep. There's a flag deep in the backfield, and Laurel Highlands, just like earlier, might be handing those yards right back.
And that was a dangerous throw.
That was a dangerous throw.
Christian Burchick, but we do have a flag on the play.
Trying to hit Burchick once again. Yeah, Tommy, that was a questionable throw. He had about 3 black shirts and 1 white. And it is going to be holding on the offense. Mustang penalty is going to be on number 53, Colton Cole, which is going to send the Laurel Highlands Mustang offense backwards once again. The Mustangs went from a 1st and 10 on the 18. And they're going to be pushed all the way back to the 36.
And, I mean, that hurts if you're the Mustangs. But, I mean,
you're putting together
you're
a good
doing
drive.
okay.
You're putting together a good drive. We saw Albert Gallatin get into some trouble with some flags on their first drive as Gallagher drops back, finds a hole. He's going to be pressured once again, but he's going to take off with this one, and he's down to the 20-yard line already, 18, down to the 15 even.
Ball came out.
The ball's loose, and it looks like Albert Gallatin may have recovered the ball. Looks like Albert Gallatin may have recovered the ball. We'll see here. Laurel Highlands sideline doesn't look happy about what just happened.
And that ball definitely came out before the player hit the ground. Because I saw movement,
Don't you wish you had instant
I
replay
really
in high
do.
school
Yep.
football?
Rodney Gallagher.
That was definitely a fumble. I mean,
We'll see what happens here. There's a conference. Albert Gallatin adamant about saying they have the ball. They obviously dove on it. We'll see what we have here.
I mean,
The play is a fumble recovered by the defense.
yeah, I mean,
That is a first down,
Yeah,
Albert
I mean,
Gallatin.
it
Rodney
looked like
Gallagher
it.
fumbles the football.
and he's just
And
not
Albert
having a good
Gallatin
night.
takes over. No, he is not having a good night, Tommy.
But I will point out,
He
it
lo-
was
I-
impressive how he moved the pocket there.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a next level move where he drops back, he can tell there's pressure, shifts the pocket to left side, and he had all the time in the world to make a decision. I mean,
absolutely. And honestly, he walked towards the Laurel Highlands sideline. He's going back out because he plays all three sides of the ball, let's be honest. But he looks absolutely distraught right now after he fumbles away Laurel Highlands' best possession that they've had
Yeah.
so far.
and I mean, it was a great run.
It was a great run. It was high IQ. It was athleticism. It was a great run, but sometimes that's how they end up. Albert Gallatin takes over 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. It's going to be another handoff to the right side. And we're still on our feet here.
Was that a keeper by Robinson?
I think that was a keeper by Robinson.
We
That was a
haven't seen
keeper
that
by
in a
Tristan
while.
Robinson.
Yeah.
No, I like pulling that. I like pulling that. 1st and 10, Albert Gallatin yet again. It's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 28-yard line with 3:43 left in the second quarter. Tommy,
and just like Gallagher's a, point of focus, Loring's making himself a point of focus.
Absolutely.
To where the Mustangs are honing in on him, and anybody who's not,
anybody who
Loring-
doesn't, anybody who has the ball
Yeah,
that's not Loring
yeah.
is, they're
and
making
even
progress.
Loring having the ball
Yeah.
is still.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't imagine Albert Gallatin's goal. I mean, obviously, a goal is to get into the end zone, but I think this would be more of, matching the play style as Loring gets a handoff to the left side, and he is cruising through the Mustang defense. They didn't even try to touch him.
it looks like number.
That was Rodney
looks-
Gallagher that
the
tripped him
truck,
up, but
yeah, but I mean,
he got dropped before he was able to grab his shoelace.
Yeah, and
We're at 3:10 left in the second
Gallagher's
quarter.
having a tough night.
He is. He really is. That's another timeout for the Mustangs. 24-0 Colonial lead. 3:10 left in the second quarter.
And with the run on the play, that's gain of 10 yards and a Colonial first down. And the Mustangs take a timeout. Score remains.
Tommy, this is it's going to end up being, the goal is always to get in the end zone, but this is going to end up being Albert Gallatin try to play that smash mouth drive football and just run out the clock
Yeah,
to
I
run
mean,
into the locker room with a 24-0 lead against the Mustangs.
Yeah, I mean that's a goal. You don't want to have to play defense again this half.
No, you do not. No, and
unless you make a big run, then I mean.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. You don't want to have to play defense again this half. You want to let your defensive guys rest because, boy, your offensive guys are playing great, but your defensive guys are playing great too.
It's just a total team effort all around. I mean, it just.
Oh, it really is.
It's
yeah.
textbook. It's a textbook.
We saw
solid.
last year Albert Gallatin kind of come alive, but there were little bits and pieces that just
Yeah,
weren't
and I mean,
there yet.
Yeah, they weren't. They weren't fully clicking.
They weren't fully
yeah.
clicking. They had enough to win some games, but boy, everybody's ready to play tonight for the Colonials. Robinson under center. Loring right behind him, puts Fabricki in motion. There's that outside toss to Fabricki. He's going to run up the right side. He's already to midfield. He's pushing ahead, and Laurel Highlands is going to pull him out of bounds.
Carrying the ball, hit for the
Looks like he's going to get a little forward progress, so I think they're going to spot him about the 49-yard line.
I mean,
I take that back. They're actually walking back. One of the referees was standing at the 49, the other's at the 45, so here we are at the 45.
another thing, if you're the Colonials, it has to be motivating to you to where you have a player on the other side of the ball, regardless on offense or defense, that is recognized not only locally but nationally as a top
absolutely.
prospect.
I
To me,
forget
that-
where I
that-
saw he was ranked in the class of, what would that be, 22, 23?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I mean, he's top 25 in the country.
Yeah.
This isn't like, he's pretty good. We keep
Yeah.
an eye on him like
I mean,
everybody's
yeah.
keeping an eye on him.
So,
it's
I
not
mean-
just, people in Fayette County or Pennsylvania as we have another quick handoff to the left side. He's running hard. And that's going to be another flag. That's going to be a late hit out of bounds on the Mustangs.
Carrying the ball for
what
the
looks
Colonials,
like will be a
number
late
13,
hit out of
Caleb
bounds
Mathis
by the
Chapman. Forced out of bounds, number
Mustangs.
6, Terrence Thomas Brown.
Caleb
And
Matzes
we get a flag on the
Chapman
play.
with another nice run. That's 2 nice runs for him. Oh, holding on the offense for Albert Gallatin. That's an interesting call.
Replay second down.
That's an interesting call.
But I mean, playing against a guy that's nationally ranked, I mean, you have that in you that you want to prove that you can play with him. I mean,
Oh,
you could-
absolutely.
I mean,
And that was the same kind of thing that was whenever he was here for the basketball games. You know, he had an okay night. He wasn't, I don't think, the full caliber, but he absolutely didn't play poor either. But, you know, this guy's kind of ran with him. Albert Gallatin's going to try again here with a 2nd and 3. That's going to negate the nice run there. It was a holding. 2nd and 7, correction. 42-yard line, 2:52 left in the second. Albert Gallatin's going to snap the ball. Loring falls forward.
that was an odd.
Carrying the ball, number
Play.
44, Sean Loring.
That was an odd play.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was almost just to get the clock running again.
Yep. Basically.
We're pushing forward here, 2:30 and winding in the second quarter, 3rd and 4 for the Colonials from the 44-yard line. Still hanging on to that 24-0 lead. Robinson brings his guys up to the line.
This would be a good outside run spot.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they are crashing the inside line. There goes for Bricky in motion.
Yep.
There's the toss to the outside. Running to the right side. Is he on his feet, Tommy? I can't.
I think he got it.
I think he got
Yep.
it.
Number 2, Bruno
He got it.
Forced out
Bruno
bounds,
for
number
Bricky
15,
outside
Christian
run,
Rodgers.
just like we said would be a good spot. And he got it. Clock rolls. 1:50 left in the second quarter. That's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Albert Gallatin Colonials.
Ball is placed at the 50.
Yeah, Laurel Highlands, you can tell the morale is low right now.
The morale is very low. The body language is low. The morale is low. Attitude's low. It's just not looking good right now. Robinson's going to keep these guys rolling with 1:30 left in the second quarter. For Bricky in motion again. Robinson drops back real quick, and he would have had a guy in
Yep.
stride. It would have
Pass to complete,
been
send it
Antonio
for number 3,
Efford. Ball was a little low.
Passing on to play number 4, Tristan Robinson.
But that's okay.
That's
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Second
okay.
down and 10 for the Colonials
That's
on the
okay. He had a
50-yard
guy
line.
in stride, but now he sees where he's got to correct it. We're waiting on a play call here for the Colonials, and here we go.
Looks like Laurel Highlands trying to make some defensive adjustments up front.
I agree. Like you said, we can kind of hear a little more than we could the last year. So moving some interior linemen around on the defense for the Mustangs. There's a snap, another drop back. Oh, late toss to Fabricki. That was a questionable play.
Yep.
That was a late option.
That was a good save.
That was a good save. That was a late option with not a lot of field to work with.
Or number 70.
They do manage to stay inside. We're at 1 minute and counting. That's going to be a 3rd and 10 for the Colonials. Tommy, I think this might be the.
Yeah.
Is this the first 3rd down the Mustangs have forced for the Colonials?
And no gain on the play. Brings up
It's
third
one of
and
the
Can't be-
only if
can't
it
be-
is.
It can't be more than the second. That's
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're rolling with 42 seconds left. Albert Gallatin lining up. More than likely going to run this quarter out with this play, if not the next one. Ball's going to be snapped. Oh, we're going to roll out with Robinson, and it's another throw that's pretty low to Bruno Fabricki. Robinson definitely has to lift those passes up a little bit if he's going to air it out.
Yeah, I think both teams are wondering what's the other one's plan right here. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's 4th and 10. You have 30 seconds left. I'm
pretty surprised that Albert Gallatin
pass there.
chose to pass with 30 seconds and running.
But
now that they have stopped the clock with 30 seconds to go.
Gallatin, their second.
We now have a
And
timeout
AG's
from
gonna
the
call a
Colonials,
timeout,
so
I mean,
yeah, we're definitely going to strategize a little bit here, see what the best course of action is.
I don't think you punt.
No,
No. Yeah.
no, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. Well, Tommy, it's been quite the game for one team and not so much for the other.
Yep. I mean, it's been a story of one side.
We always come in hopeful for Albert Gallatin, and I don't want to say we expected them to hit the ground running like they did, but it's been a pretty impressive showing, and not so much for the Mustangs. Looks like we could, they're right down below us warming up. Looks like we may have a quarterback change for the Mustangs even. Joe Chambers getting his arm loose.
Junior.
We'll see what happens here. One would assume with one timeout left for the Mustangs, Albert Gallatin is going to go for it on fourth down here, that they're going to be at least able to run one play.
One or two. I mean, you still have a timeout,
Yeah,
too.
that's true. That's true. We'll see here what happens. Robinson's going to line up. Man in motion, ball snapped, handoff.
Holding on to the ball, number 4,
That's an odd play call there, but
That was an odd play call. That was actually a keeper from Robinson, and that's going to
I mean, you have two playmakers that have had relatively ease moving the ball with Fabricki and Loring.
absolutely.
And then you do that. I don't understand that decision. At least put the ball in their hands and
Absolutely. Now here's something to see here, Tommy, like we had mentioned. Gallagher not returning in at quarterback. It is number 3 for the Mustangs, Joe Chambers, the junior. Gallagher had that fumble late on the Mustang drive the last time they had the ball. He is still on the field. He is lined up on the right side as a slot receiver. I'm wondering if Chambers might have a little bit of a better arm potentially.
That could be
he
it.
might be trying to throw deep. Albert Gallatin set up for it as he does drop back. Ball's over to Gallagher. Tried to set up a little bit of a screen.
Yep.
The Mustangs try to set up a little bit of a screen. Laurel Highlands does take the timeout. Their last remaining.
That may be the
I take
thing.
that back. They did not take the timeout. They're moving the chains.
Putting Gallagher in as a receiver. That may be where he's going to be best for this
I
team.
think that he looked way more comfortable as Chambers snaps the ball again. He's going to roll out to the left. He's going to lob a pass, and that's going to be broken up. That was a bit of a
That was
dangerous
close to being
pass.
an interception there.
That was a dangerous pass. We're down to 6.6 in the second quarter here. Laurel Highlands does have the ball down to the 33-yard line.
28, Caleb Lang.
Yeah, Tommy, I think Gallagher looked a little more comfortable with that
Yeah.
slot receiver position, especially whenever he had those other guys try to collapse and make him a little pocket there.
Well, and the
They're
Mustangs
lucky-
have definitely changed their offense
Absolutely.
around. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, in a more run-oriented offense, Gallagher's your guy because he can make guys miss. But in this
Absolutely.
setting, you need his skills at receiver.
Chambers is back. He airs the ball out deep. He has a man open, and it's going to be broken up by the Albert Gallatin Colonials. He had a man open for a second. I'm not sure if it was Gallagher. He did have a man open for a second. It was a good look, however. The hole closed quick. It was Gallagher. They just helped him up. But that was broken up very easily by the Colonials. We have some confusion by the Mustang players. They were exiting the field for halftime, but they're telling them to come back now.
We ask all spectators and parents to, at the end of the game, to please go straight to your vehicles and exit the stadium. We ask nobody.
Well, this is
hang around.
odd.
Please exit the stadium immediately and enter to your vehicles.
I'm not sure.
Head coach of the
Immediately following the
Mustangs,
game.
Rich Colasar, is
Thank you.
over having a conference with the referees. Albert Gallatin made it pretty much into the locker room, but here
I'm not
they're
sure.
coming back out here. I'm not quite sure what would have been the case. It looked like a pretty routine, aired the ball out, pass was broken up, and that was
Game
that.
should be over, yeah.
They think maybe there should be time on the clock potentially since it was an incomplete pass. I'm not sure. Teams came back, and Albert Gallatin's leaving once again.
As time expired in the first half. Halftime.
Yep, that is
Yeah,
halftime.
okay.
That's halftime. So a little bit of confusion there. Not quite sure what that was, but nonetheless, that is an incomplete pass by the Mustangs. Time expires in the second half. We're at halftime. 24-0 Colonial lead. I'm Rob Flockovich with Tommy Victor. We will be right back with you to bring you the second half.
Buckle up for safety, buckle up. Buckle up for safety, always buckle up. Put your mind at ease, tell your riders, please get your seat belts buckled, everybody buckle up.
The National Safety Council says if you don't have seat belts, get them. If you do have seat belts, use them.
Once there was a little boy who liked to visit his friends, the trees.
Hello, tree.
Hello, boy.
How's the little fella today?
Now, the little boy had a lot of fun with his friends and learned some very interesting facts about the trees. Their roots hold vital soil in place and prevent erosion. Their leaves replenish the oxygen in the air. Their summer shade preserves the moisture. Their falling leaves enrich and protect the soil, making a better world for all of us. Yes, trees are everybody's friends. So the next time you're visiting your friends, the trees, make sure you crush out cigarettes. Make sure you drown out campfires. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to York Run Stadium. We're here to bring you the second half of Albert Gallatin versus Laurel Highlands. I'm Rob Flockovich with Tommy Victor. Looking at a 24-0 Albert Gallatin lead as we're winding down in halftime here. Laurel Highlands, I can see down in the other entrance of the field. They're going to be taking the field once again. Albert Gallatin is yet to come back from the locker room, but we have about a minute and a half before we see some action again. Tommy, do you want to run through the stat line that you brought to my attention?
So far, we don't have a ton of stats, but I'll go with what we have so far.
We get the notable performances. We don't really have the capacity to get the whole line, but go ahead.
Right now, the only stats that I have are for Loring for AG. He has 96 yards rushing according to the booth, but I also heard they had 101. So
he'll break 100 regardless.
Yeah, I mean,
he'll break 100.
He's around 100 yards through a half, which is pretty good.
Not to mention the 2 touchdown runs and the 2 2-point conversion runs that he has. So Albert Gallatin currently has 24 points on the scoreboard. Loring is responsible for 16 of those 24 points. The other touchdown being the outside run to Fabricki. And the QB kind of sneak, little unconventional 2-point run, 2-point conversion run that they had with Robinson. I mean, that was really drawing. In my opinion, they used Loring as a weapon there to draw everybody else away to let Robinson walk into the end zone.
Yeah, and Loring also has around 15 carries, which, I mean, that's probably about 60 to 70% of the Colonials' total offense right there.
If not more.
Yeah.
If not more.
That's a conservative guess.
If not more. I mean, for Fabricki, we've seen get a little bit of attention. Caleb Matsis-Chapman is also somebody getting a little attention for Albert Gallatin. Now, he had one run in the first quarter, I believe, and then he had a second run. Both pretty respectable, nice little gains for a guy that's we're just seeing for really the first time. But one of them was negated by a penalty, was not a penalty on himself. So we will just have to see if he gets back in action. But really this offense is going to run strictly through Sean Loring, it appears.
Something to keep in mind for the Mustangs, we did have a quarterback change at the end of the half.
We did have a quarterback change. It was the last snap that Rodney Gallagher took at quarterback.
Resulted in a fumble.
And
in steps in Joe Chambers.
Yes.
Junior, 6 foot tall, 170 pounds. And moving Gallagher to a receiver spot, which, I mean, I if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say that that's going to be the remainder of their offense. for
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
night.
And honestly, I mean, we saw not a whole lot of plays, maybe like 2 or 3, where Rodney Gallagher was moved to a slot receiver. In my opinion, looked much more comfortable, aside from running the offense at quarterback like he has been like he had been up until that point. We got we put a little more time on the clock to allow for stretches and all that fun stuff because got to have time for that.
And the Mustangs are going to receive the ball, correct, to start this half?
Yes, I believe so. I believe Albert Gallatin did start off first, so Laurel Highlands will have the ball first in the second half. Try to chip away at that deficit, see what happens here. Minute left on the clock for halftime, so we'll be getting things rolling here. It'll be interesting to see if anybody else really makes a breakthrough for Laurel Highlands.
Yeah, they're desperate for somebody to make some noise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think they rely a lot on Rodney Gallagher, which usually that is
plenty of spark.
Plenty of spark is a good way to put it. However, not this evening. But everybody is entitled to have a bad night, and that could be what's happening here. Week 1,
and the night's not over yet. I mean,
the
that's
night is
one
not
thing.
over yet. We're only halfway there.
I mean, the thing with playmakers, when they make a splash, it's usually a big splash. So I mean, it could come now, it could come fourth quarter, but don't be surprised if there's a big play out of Gallagher to try to ignite something.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like we said, he looks much more comfortable at that slot receiver role. We only saw, I think, 3 plays.
Yeah, 3 or 4
3
maybe.
plays, yeah.
But I will say I think the offense looked more fluent in those 3 plays.
Absolutely, yeah. They looked much more in sync, much more comfortable. He can run the offense and not have to be quarterback, I suppose.
Yeah.
Laurel Highlands already lined up and ready to receive the ball. Albert Gallatin taking the field for the kickoff. See if we have more of the same or if Laurel Highlands wants to put up a little bit and match the score.
Second half, kicking off for the Colonials will be number 10, Jace Bowers. Back to receive for the Mustangs, number 2, Rodney Gallagher. Number 5, Matt Lucas.
Bowers going to be kicking off for the Colonials. 24-0 Albert Gallatin lead. We're about to kick off the third quarter. Albert Gallatin scored 24 in the first half. Let's see what Laurel Highlands can do in the second half. Ball is up, and third quarter has started. It looks like it's going to be a trick play from the get-go. It's going to end up in Gallagher's hands. Albert Gallatin trying to chase him down. They look like they read the trick pretty well. And they close up any holes. He's down at about the 19 or 20-yard line.
The Colonials' kickoff coverage has been
their kickoff coverage
stopping them
has
at
been
the 20.
Fantastic, but I do like a little bit of trickery
Yeah, I
on
do
Laurel
too,
Highlands'
yeah.
side to start the second half. I do like what they tried to do.
Yeah, I mean, you come out of the locker room, you have some time to think about it.
Ball placed at the 20-yard line of Laurel Highlands.
I mean, you got to get creative at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to let Albert Gallatin get that 2-touchdown lead in the first quarter, but we're running out of game at this point. This isn't the first quarter anymore. We're 11:50 left in the third, so we're over halfway. Laurel Highlands going to take their first possession of the second half. Let's see. Looks like Chambers is going to remain the quarterback for the Mustangs. I would expect to see that the rest of the game. Rodney Gallagher, he's the man in motion. Moved to the right side. Now he's back in the slot in the left. Chambers is back. Looking for what he's got. He's on the move. Didn't take long to the side, but that's a nice hit by Albert Gallatin. That's Lauren.
Yep.
He
does it all.
He will have to exit the game. His helmet did come off on that play.
Joe Chambers.
Wow.
Number 10, Jace Bowers, and
He just does it all.
He does it all.
John Laurie.
He does it all.
Gain of 5 on the play brings up second down and 5.
Chambers bringing a play into the Laurel Highlands offense.
Laurel Highlands.
Going to be 2nd and 5 with a rolling clock from the 25-yard line. Smart move to, I think, tuck and run, but that play ended a little quicker than I think the Mustangs anticipated. Chambers.
It looks like we're going to have Looks like we're going to bring it for Bricky on Gallagher. Yep.
And Gallagher drops the pass. Chambers right to Gallagher. Looks like it was going to be another kind of screen pass. Looks like the other receivers kind of what Gallagher's doing. He's lining up in the slot so he can just sneak around to the back, but the other receivers are kind of forming a pocket around him. But that was just a matter of Gallagher didn't hang on to the ball.
And that's going to be an interesting matchup for Bricky on Gallagher because, I mean, you have two guys that they make plays. I mean, simple as that. And, I mean, it looks like they're changing now. I can't tell. Number 8 for the Colonials is going to be on the side with Gallagher.
See if he doesn't. I know he is going to follow Gallagher across the other side of the field, and there's a false start from what should be the Mustangs. Looks like it's going to be Terrence Thomas Brown. Terrence Thomas Brown started running a route before the ball was snapped.
And so far, that's not what you want to have coming out of the locker room. I mean, you have a drop screen pass by your best key player, and now a false start.
Absolutely, yeah, not what we wanted to see from the Mustangs, because you're already looking at a 3rd and 10 from your own 20-yard line. Chambers going to take the snap for the Mustangs in the shotgun, snap back, rolling out to the left side. Looks like they're trying to form a little bit of an option play as he's brought down by Dylan Shea.
And I'm guilty of looking downfield. I mean, Gallagher was wide open.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I was focusing. That's okay. One set of eyes downfield, one set of eyes close, because I was focusing on Chambers.
I mean, I was just waiting for the ball to get to Gallagher.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was not much of an open
Absolutely.
gap.
It's kind of –
23-yard line.
he's definitely keeping his eyes down the field, but he's rolling to the outside as he's doing so. So it's almost like an odd kind of option play that they're running. But not quite the energy I'm sure the Mustangs wanted to come out with, because here is a punt on their first possession of the second half, 4th and 7 from the 23-yard line.
That's a good punt.
That's a heck of a punt. And that's going to take a Laurel Highlands bounce.
Big bounce, yeah.
And that's going to roll down to about the 33-yard line, where Albert Gallatin will regain control. 9:53 left in the third quarter, 24-0 Colonial lead. Tommy, I wouldn't be surprised one of these times now, of course, if Albert Gallatin continues to force these 4th downs, if we see a little bit of trickery on like a punt or something like that. So like it was a 4th and 7. That's a little bit much.
You know what my indicator was?
4th and 7. If it's a little closer, I can see him going for that.
When I saw that Gallagher was on the sideline, I kind of knew that was going to be rolled out. Because, I mean, I feel like if you're going to make that gamble, you have to put your marquee player out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Just something to keep an eye on nonetheless.
Especially with the score. I mean,
it is.
You have to think about it.
We got a little bit of time left, but like we said prior to, we're running out of game here if you're the Mustangs.
We have a penalty
Illegal substitution on the defense.
Oh
boy.
You don't see that often in high school football.
Really don't see that, but another mental lapse by the Mustangs, illegal substitution, which is going to hand the Colonials 5 yards right off the bat.
Which you don't want to give free yards to this Colonial offense.
Not at this point.
And with the penalty, bring up 1st down and 5 for the Colonials. Ball at the 37-yard line of AG.
Albert Gallatin's going to get ready to take the snap. Robinson's going to hand the ball off quick to
who else?
Who else? To Sean Loring, who is just going to continue to plow through defenders.
Carrying the ball ahead for some tough yards, number 44, Sean Loring.
He's been the Mustang for the Colonials tonight.
So hypothetically, let's say at 96 yards, now he's broken 100.
Yep.
First down.
We'll go with that.
I mean, I think it's safe to call him the little bus.
Fair enough. The little bus is a good way to put it.
You don't see many power backs anymore at any level in football.
No,
really.
Absolutely not. I mean, heck, you see guys like Adrian Peterson now getting released.
Yep.
I mean, I know he's up there in age, but still, you don't see a whole lot. I mean, it's an air raid game now. Albert Gallatin with a 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. Ball snapped. We're going to have a handoff to the left side, and we're going to truck right along. I believe that's Efford.
Yep.
That's a nice run.
Yeah, that's a
nice
first down.
run.
I mean,
Antonio
Antonio Effort running to the left side. That's a nice little run for him.
a lot of patience and quickness.
Absolutely.
Gain of 11 yards and a Colonial first down.
Yeah, if you're the Mustangs, you have to be puzzled. I see a couple coaches shaking their heads just because, like, what do you do? I mean,
Exactly.
Ball will be placed at the 39
I mean,
yard line of
you
the
have to
Mustangs.
surely think here we are in the third quarter.
Also have first and 10,
You have given this
45
guy
left in the quarter.
everything you got, and he's still running right through your
Yep.
defense. Albert Gallatin going to take over first and 10 from the Mustang 39-yard line. Albert Gallatin enters Mustang territory once again. Going to roll for Bricky out to the right side. There's another outside run toss from Robinson. He's going to run out of daylight on that one.
good containment by the
Number 2,
Mustangs.
Bruno Fabrici. Tackle made by number 18.
Going to run
Daniel
out of
Hardy.
daylight on that one. Like you said, Tommy, that was good containment by the Mustangs.
Loss of a yard on the play. Now to bring up second down and 11 for the Colonials. Ball at the
First,
30-yard line.
what could be
Laurel.
negative play by Albert Gallatin. Loss of 1 yard,
That's what I
second
was
and
trying to
11
think.
from
Maybe-
the 40.
Maybe a carry by Robinson on that fourth down was probably or
Yes.
third or fourth down.
Yeah, you're
that was
onto
probably the
something on
other.
that one,
Yeah. But I mean, besides that, I mean, they haven't had any negative plays besides.
No, absolutely not. See, Albert Gallatin's going to try to come back from that negative yardage play. Handoff to Laurel.
They were waiting for him.
Yeah. Yep, that is to be expected, I think,
Yeah.
at this point in the game, but that's okay.
Carrying the ball, number 44, Sean Loring. Tackle made by number 68 of the Mustangs.
Loring not used to that.
No. Almost fumbled. I think he did put the ball on the
He
ground
might
for a
have put
little
the
bit.
ground on.
Yeah.
He might have put the ball on the ground for a second. So now we have a 3rd and 11. Albert Gallatin. They are in an interesting spot, though, Tommy. 3rd and 12 correction. You know, this clock's rolling. They've taken now. I mean, Laurel Highlands did have a possession,
Yeah.
but they are up to. You know, we're almost midway through the third quarter already, and they're just chewing that clock while they hold on to that lead. Man in motion for Albert Gallatin. Robinson's going to roll out to the right side. Let's see a pass to a wide open, yes, wide open receiver.
Dylan Shea. I
Dylan
believe.
Shea. Now that's a way to get that pass up in the air
And
a
if that
little
pass
bit.
was a little higher, that would have been a touchdown.
That would have been a touchdown, but hey, that's progress.
I think
That is
that's a similar
progress.
play to what they ran with
Yes,
the
yes. Whenever they
was it a
were
false
yes,
start? Yeah.
yes, I think so as well.
Colonial first down.
So it fooled Laurel Highlands once. It's fooled them twice. This time it is converted.
And we got first and 10 for the Colonials. Ball placed at the 21-yard
16
line of the
or
Mustangs.
6:15, excuse me, left in the third quarter. Clock winding. First and 10. Albert Gallatin. We're down to the 21-yard line of the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. See if we air the ball out a little more potentially now that we kind of have the monkey
See,
off the back.
if I'm
we
the
got a
Colonials,
completed
though,
pass.
I
well,
don't. Yeah, I mean,
you're right. You're
I
right.
I don't know. I see both sides. Well,
Robinson's going to roll out to the right side, cutting up the field. He's going to be close. He's down. Is he
And
in?
holding on to the ball,
No,
number
it looks
4,
like he was
Justin
out.
Robinson.
He thought he was
He's
in.
hurt, though.
Oh, yeah.
Gallagher.
He's down inside the 5. Looks like he might have ran out
And the ball
of
will be
field
placed above the 3-yard
there.
line.
He is coming out of the game under his own power. Of course, he's hobbling on the sideline.
hopefully it's just a cramp or something.
Absolutely. Might have got a quick stinger. A Mustang defender hit his leg the right way while he was running down the field.
I mean, if I'm the Colonials, run the ball, run the clock out.
I mean,
it's
here
the
we are.
formula. I mean,
Here we are, you know. So we're at first and goal from the 3 of the Mustangs. Your Albert Gallatin looking to push this lead into the 30s at this point. 5:47 to go. We do have a new quarterback in the game, at least for one play. It is number 7, Quentin Larkin, sophomore.
I was going to say, I think I remember that name last year.
We do have an Albert Gallatin timeout. I'm wondering if this is to see if Robinson's good enough to go back in here.
Because you don't want to mess up the rhythm they have right now.
Absolutely. This may be to see if Robinson's good enough to go in, maybe get Larkin an extra couple minutes to take a breather since this is his first appearance in the game. We will see here. 5:47 left in the third quarter. 24-0 Albert Gallatin lead. This is going to be a big moment because you're first and goal on the 3, too. You don't want to risk, like you said, any momentum changes.
This feels like a long time out.
It absolutely does. Must have been a fool instead of a half.
Maybe.
All right, looks like we're lining up to get back in action here. Looks like Larkin is still at quarterback. He's going to line up under center. Loring in the back. Man in motion. Ball snapped. It's going to be a quick toss. That was that man in motion. Now Albert Gallatin's in the end zone. That was effort. That's a touchdown.
That was a quick
hitter.
hitter.
Colonial touchdown.
Yeah, that was a real quick hitter.
That's a touchdown. Now he could have had a knee down at the 1 or something like that, but that's a Colonial touchdown.
Gallatin 30, Laurel Highlands 0.
He hit that hole very fast.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He hit it fast enough. I didn't even see him get the ball. With 5:41 left in the third quarter, we are looking at a 30-0 Albert Gallatin lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Let's see if we can get another 2-point conversion here. Fabricki has the ball on the right side. He was in motion. He takes a dive. It's going to be tight.
He got it.
And he got it. He got it. That is 4 for 4 on 2-point conversions, which is says quite a bit about the containment on Laurel Highlands.
And I mean, it hasn't been any trickery.
No.
I mean,
it's been standard
two
plays.
guys.
It's
Yeah.
been standard
2-3
plays.
guys, yeah.
Standard plays as far as the Colonials are concerned.
I think this score is going to shock a lot of people tomorrow morning. When they
I
read
would
about
say
it.
so. 32-0 is now that score since we have another 2-point conversion. And Tommy, I mean, you don't see it too much in the pros or in college. I mean, even high school, it's kind of a thing of the past. I mean, Albert Gallatin's just always kind of stuck with that 2-point conversion mindset. It's pretty rare you go 4 for 4
Yeah,
so
it is.
far.
And I mean, we don't know the kicking situation. I mean, obviously, first game, we don't know if AG has a solid kicker or solid option for extra point attempts or whatever. But honestly,
it's going to be hard to budge.
They may be electing.
4 for 4.
They may be electing for 2-point conversions with their offense.
Absolutely.
At this point. I mean,
4 for 4 here. Jeez.
I mean, 4 for 4. You make that part of your game plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt Lucas. And number 6, Terrence.
Now, this would be a spot if Gallagher can make something happen.
This would be the time to do it. Like we said, we got 5:41 left in the third quarter, so it may just be not giving up at this point. But this could be the time to do it. We're going to have the ball fielded by Lucas once again, and he's going to take up right through the middle. Stutter steps a little bit. He's up to the 36, 37-yard line.
By far their best return.
Absolutely. I mean, that was by 17 yards.
Yep.
And they're only at the 37 or so.
And carrying the ball, number 5, Matt Lucas.
He powered through that hole, but Albert Gallatin once again did a good job seeing where the weakness was and collapsing.
Left in the quarter.
Chambers still at quarterback for the Mustangs. Lining up for another possession. Ball's back, shotgun snap. Passes to Rodney Gallagher. Tried to get another kind of screen going, and boy, he's been tackled
Wow.
about 4 times and is still on his feet as he runs to about midfield, and Albert Gallatin will finally take him down.
That's what a playmaker could do.
That's what a playmaker can do. He was wrapped up about 4 different times, 3 of which were in the backfield, and here we are at the midfield.
And that is why he is a top prospect.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Ball will be placed at the 50-yard line.
Snap to Chambers, hand off to Gallagher. He's running up the left side now. Let's see what he can do on a run. He's weaving. Same thing. He's still going to put a couple yards away.
Carrying the ball, number
That's the
2,
first time
Rodney
we've seen a
Gallagher.
handoff to Rodney Gallagher, and I would say just as successful as Laurel Highlands comes up on a 2nd and about 3.
This offense definitely seems to fit their team better.
Yes. Yes, I totally agree. Chambers at quarterback and Gallagher kind of like that slot motion man has definitely been, I mean, it's look how more, there's just so much more of a flow as Chambers rolls out to the right side after the shotgun snap. Passes the ball off to Lucas for a nice little completion. Chambers has a nice arm.
He does.
He has a nice arm. He's definitely putting the passes right in these guys'
You almost
chests.
wonder why they didn't start with this offense.
I would say, I would agree with that. I mean, they're flowing. They still have no points on the board, but they look a lot better than they did. Snap to Chambers, handoff to the left side. Nice little gain by number 4. That's Angelo Gotti.
And this is where the Colonial defense needs to start stiffening up and really making a couple stops, because Laurel Highlands, I mean, they're making progress. This is by far their best drive, really, collectively with plays.
There's no time limit on how many points a team can score. If Laurel Highlands starts scoring, I mean, it's 32-0, but they could make it a game. Lucas is running out to the right side for the Colonials. Not going to get a whole lot of a game, but it looks like he's going to get that first down for the Mustangs. That might be 4 for 4 on first downs for the Mustangs this drive.
Yep.
They look like a whole new team, honestly. 3:48 left in the third quarter. We have some whistles here. We got a timeout.
By the Colonials.
Colonial timeout.
Which is smart. I think you needed that.
Yes, I absolutely think so too. Slow that tempo down a little bit, but not sure what the Mustangs did here in the last 5 minutes or so. But
and it's odd
looks like
because
a whole new team.
we've seen a series from halftime already to where this is their
this
second drive.
isn't.
So, I mean,
this isn't them coming out of the locker room. They had was it a 4 and out, a 3? It was a 3 and out with a punt.
Yeah.
Right out of the locker room. So this isn't their first possession of the second quarter. Or the third quarter, second half. Slow that tempo down a little bit, but gives the Mustangs time to think some things over, too. Tighten up what they're having success with.
And the Colonials really need to watch that they don't give up a mid-pass to Gallagher.
Absolutely.
Because it seems like whenever
those little
the
screen
Mustangs
passes
are on,
the mid-pass, like you said, they're right on the brink. Chambers snap, hands off to the right side. Albert Gallatin saw that coming. That was a great stop, exactly what the Colonials needed. That was 72, Gates Bircher. Clock rolls, 3:29 left in the third quarter.
And time's going to have to start becoming a priority for the Mustangs.
Absolutely. We're taking a lot of time between these snaps, especially with a rolling clock. Oh, that was a nice contact tackle. That was Chambers' handoff to the right side. That was Thomas brought down. Looks like we have an injury on the field. It is a Mustang.
Officials timeout for an injury.
And we're going to take some time here and make sure he is helped out properly. Looks to be
a knee, it looked like.
Yeah, looks to be a lower leg issue here. Trying to see. I didn't get a clear look at the number. right back to don't you wish we had that instant replay.
Yep.
But he's being helped up. Still looks like he's in some discomfort.
Yep.
Justin Smith is the injured Mustang. He's limping off the field. He's walking under his own power, which is good, but it's some definite discomfort. So hopefully he gets tended to and he's all good. Get him back out there. Definitely something with the lower leg. Looks like his lower right leg. We're going to get back to action here as the clock continues to roll. Laurel Highlands going to take a snap on what is now a 3rd and 8 from the 25. Gallagher moving to the left side, and they're going to draw Albert Gallatin off sides. It looks like it is going to be.
I would say, wait, there may be a false start there because, I mean.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
False start on the offense. I was going to say. Oh, my. Well, good call, Tommy. False start on the offense.
That hurts.
Making it a 3rd and now 13 from the 30-yard line. After that impressive, I think that it was 4 plays, 4 first downs for the Mustangs there.
I mean, you've had a series of 4 or 5 plays where they've moved the ball effortlessly, and now you're down to 3rd and 13 somehow.
Not what they imagined here after that success to their second possession of the second half. As Chambers takes a snap, drops back, looks at what he's got. Airs the ball out to the right side.
Great
Boy,
catch.
That was a great catch by Rodney Gallagher. He took a nice hit, though. Do we have the chains coming out? It's a first down, Laurel Highlands. Oh, we do have an injury on the field.
Oh,
this time it is an Albert Gallatin player.
Timeout for an injured player.
That was for Bricky that laid down the hammer on Gallagher.
Yeah, that was a nice hit. Great for Gallagher to hang on through that, though. That shows a lot of discipline there. Same thing, or same situation with the player from Laurel Highlands. Can't really tell who it is at the moment.
As soon as we find out, we'll say something. And he looks like they're getting up. Number, is it 21?
That's looks to be it is number 21. That is James Marvin of the Colonials as the injured player. Definitely looks like a lower leg kind of injury. The same thing as that player from Laurel Highlands. He is walking off under his own power as well, but same thing, very gingerly. So we will see if they can get him back into the game or not. Hopefully he can turn around quick too.
And Gallagher's back at quarterback.
Oh, Gallagher takes the snap, quick handoff to Thomas. Thomas rolls off to the left side, and he's going to be brought down. Tried to find a hole, and it closed.
And I was going to wonder if that was maybe a distraction play to where you put Gallagher at quarterback to take the attention off of someone else.
Absolutely, it could be. I'm looking for. Let's see. It looks like Chambers
is
talking
back in
to.
now.
Now Chambers cycles back in. He's got the play, so we're looking like he's going to be the quarterback again.
And I couldn't tell. Maybe he took a hit on the last play.
He could have.
Yeah, I mean
he could have.
But I mean, it could have also been. Let's put Gallagher back there. Let's take the attention off of someone else.
At that point, can you really call it kind of a wildcat?
Yeah,
kind of situation. Really. I mean, if he's playing, a position that's not quarterback but taking the snap as he lines back up to the slot receiver and Chambers takes the shotgun snap, he fires it to the left side and that pass is going to be dropped.
And I think
that's an incomplete pass, according to.
That was Lucas.
Yeah, that was a Lucas. That was good coverage by Albert Gallatin. A little hit, jostled the ball loose. Laurel Highlands is looking at another third down, 3rd and 10 from the 18-yard line. See if Gallagher can save them again here with another nice catch. And there's another snap. We got a wide open receiver. Oh! That's an interception.
Yep.
We had a wide open receiver for Laurel Highlands in the end zone. Ball was thrown a little bit high by Chambers right through his hands, and that is a Interception for the Colonials.
That was Bruno Fabricki.
Was that Bruno Fabricki? Yeah. Excellent play.
Which I noticed they put him back on safety, and they had somebody cover Gallagher on this. It'd be our right side. But definitely noticed that they set him back a little bit, which was a good call. I mean, it worked out. I mean, they got possession and really killed any momentum the Mustangs could have had to try to get back in this game.
That was absolutely the most progress that the Mustangs have made all night, and it ends in an interception just as those quick runs by Gallagher, a quarterback, ended in a fumble. Albert Gallatin going to take back over at the 20-yard line. That was an interception in the end zone, so we're going to bring the ball out.
Looks like Robinson's back in the game, which
that's
great
promising for the Colonials. Yes, Robinson hands off to the right side. Looks like it's going to be Loring.
That's honestly the assumption when you see something in the middle. Anymore.
Yep. PA confirms it.
Brad Smith and number 70, Lorenzo McFadden.
Minute left in the third quarter, 32-0. Albert Gallatin lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Laurel Highlands turns the ball over yet again. This time in the end zone. Albert Gallatin comes to line up. Robinson is back at quarterback. He goes under center. Down to about 35 seconds. Ball snap, rolls out to the right. Quick toss to Fabricki.
Somebody tripped him up in the backfield.
I was going to say somebody got a hand on him.
Carrying the ball, number 2, Bruno Fabricki.
Looks like number
7, Chenille Thomas.
Chenille Thomas for the Mustangs is the tackler.
Great awareness to be on the ground and still stop the runner.
Absolutely, yeah. He definitely made that play from the ground. 5 seconds to go here in the third quarter. That's probably going to conclude it. And that is going to conclude it. End of the third quarter. We are looking at a 32-0 Colonial lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, getting ready to go into the final quarter of this first week of play. And it has been highly successful for one team and very bad for the other.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else you can say. I mean, I don't know. It's just maybe not the Mustangs' night. I mean, they've had glimpses of really being a dangerous offense, and then it's just kind of like.
Well, they have great glimpses of being a good offense. Then there's a fumble, and they have some more great glimpses of being an offense, and then there's an interception, not to mention the penalties, like you just said, that have been included in those possessions. So, what can you really do if you're your own enemy at this point?
And, I mean, the whole thing is what makes a bad night worse is when you have penalties at the wrong time. I mean, getting a penalty on 1st and 10 puts you back 5 yards. It is what it is. I mean, you obviously don't want it, but you're getting 3rd and 6 and you get a 5-yard penalty. It's not good. I mean, it just kills anything that you have going for you.
It's not good. We got a 3rd and 8. Robinson under center for the Colonials from the 22-yard line. Man in motion. Ball snap. He drops back. He airs a long pass out.
Overthrown.
And very overthrown. Nobody's going to get to that.
Gallagher was all over Shea, though, on that one.
Absolutely, yeah. That was a matter of not going through a read and just deciding who you're going to throw it to before the ball is actually snapped. 11:54 left in the fourth quarter. We're looking at a 4th and 8 after the in by Albert Gallatin. The Colonials going to send out a punter.
First one of the night. Always a good sign.
For sure. That's a low snap. The punt's still away. That's a nice punt there. Wow. Gallagher back deep to receive. He waves for the fair catch.
Which was wise.
Absolutely. He had, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Colonials.
6 with no Mustangs.
Yep.
All the way back to about the 39-yard line where the Mustangs
and that punt was beautiful, even given the fact that the snap was low, hit the ground.
Yeah, he picked it up. He picked
Had
that
pressure in
ball
the
off the
backfield.
ground. Picking that ball up off the ground and getting that punt off the way he did, that was pretty excellent. We got Chambers going back in after the interception. Let's see if he can shake that off this drive.
I just feel like the Mustangs haven't had the ability to cash anything in.
No.
Because, I mean, they've had good plays, just nothing has really
It's
been
either
rewarded.
been a turnover
Yep.
or a penalty. Chambers takes the snap, quick handoff up the middle. Got a little bit of daylight there from Gaddy.
Carrying on number 4, Angelo Gaddy. Tripped up by number 6, Dylan Shea of the Colonials.
Dylan Shea on the tackle for
He's
Albert
been busy
Gallatin.
tonight.
He usually is.
Yep.
Not so much on offense, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. He has been in on some plays, but definitely been a star on the defensive side of the ball. 2nd and 2 on the 47 for the Mustangs. Snap to Chambers. Another quick handoff. Looks like about the same play.
Yeah.
But Albert Gallatin was ready for that one. We have a tackle by 77, Brady Shore.
You have Loring in at linebacker, it looks like. But you know that's always going to cause havoc in the middle.
Absolutely. I was going to say that's a good place for him. That's a good place for him.
And this is a good Ronnie Gallagher route.
Absolutely.
Scenario.
3rd and 1. Absolutely. Chambers drops back. And he's my! He spun out of it for a second, and
they were setting up the screen, and it just he didn't have time to get the ball away.
Absolutely, they were setting it up, and it just did not go well. And he was slow to get up, but I think I would be too.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Gallagher sets up for the screen. It's just he can't get it off the first time. Tries to get it the second time. By that point, you have 3 Colonials all over.
I mean, how can you have time to let a screen develop whenever you got 2 guys in your face? You know, as soon as you snap the ball.
Yeah,
I
mean, it's just what do you do?
Bringing up yet another 4th down for the Mustangs. 4th and 11 from the 38 after the loss on the play.
And I just think it has to be noted that, at least from my observation, Laurel Highlands, the struggles aren't on Chambers and Gallagher. It's the front line just not holding up. I mean,
absolutely, this isn't a matter of Chambers or Gallagher not being here to play. They're just not getting a chance to play.
Yeah, because, I mean, when they've had time, they've made plays. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, while we've been talking, Tommy, another penalty on Laurel Highlands.
And it was a legal formation.
Legal
formation. I mean, on a punt, I don't know.
It's not the first time they've gotten a legal formation call. We're now at 4th and 16 for the Mustangs. Definite punting situation.
Oh,
We have a... I'm almost wondering, Tommy, if that was too boy. I'm almost wondering.
Did you see Loring with the hit? If I had to give MVP to somebody tonight, it's going to be Loring.
Oh, it has been since the first quarter. Loring drops his shoulder on Zachary Layton, who was the punter. Now, let me tell you, Tommy, I almost think that was to design while he muffed that snap, because as he is going to recover the ball, they already had, I'm not sure who the receiver was on the left side of the field. He's streaking towards the end zone.
I did not notice
before
that.
he even turns around. So yeah, he's going down to cover a punt, but I'm almost wondering if that was to buy a second to draw that receiver some time.
It might have been.
Nonetheless, ineffective. 1st and 10, Albert Gallatin.
I mean, Loring, that was the hit of the night. My gosh.
1st and 10 from the Mustang 35-yard line. Albert Gallatin starts in Mustang territory once again. 9:35 left in the 4th quarter. 32-0 lead. Toss over to Effort, and that's going to be brought down pretty quickly. We do have number 7, Quentin Larkin, back in at quarterback for Albert Gallatin.
That could be just,
let's
give our quarterback
time,
a break.
Yeah, it's time.
Ball placed at the 36-yard line.
It's
Laurel
not a
Highlands-
long season, but you definitely
No.
want to preserve every bit of
Laurel Highlands
health.
had their chances to come back into this game to force Robinson to stay in for the Colonials, and they did not capitalize.
Which,
so.
it's understandable that you kept Robinson in until this point because,
absolutely.
hometown game,
Absolutely.
you have big playmakers for Laurel
Well, you don't
Highlands.
want to.
I mean,
You don't want to put.
yeah.
You don't want to put your starting quarterback away until
No.
you can. Laurel Highlands. I mean, let's face it. 32 points in 8 minutes is going to be a stretch. Loring staying in the game, lined up behind Larkin. Larkin is milking that play clock. That's going to be a handoff to Loring right up the middle.
No,
Actually, Larkin
keeper,
hung on to
yeah.
it. Larkin hung on to it.
And I have to wonder, when are they going to pull the plug on Loring for tonight?
Well, I would say it's coming.
Yeah,
I would say if they're willing to budge on their quarterback, it's probably coming, especially since, now that's not saying Robinson doesn't play two sides of the ball, but since Loring's having a decent game at linebacker as well, might want to pull it all together, and then that way, we regroup, we get ready for next week.
Which next week's a home game, correct?
I believe so. They just added a home game next week. We'll see if we can check with what team that is. Late add-on. Ball snap, going to keep it himself. Roll to the right side. Ooh, he's lucky. Fabricki is lucky that he dove. Well, the ball's still out. The ball's still out. Laurel Highlands is actually going to end up on the ball.
Yeah, that was a bad pitch by
that was a poor pitch.
quarterback. Yeah, you're already.
It's time. You got to hang on to that ball. That play is dead. We'll see. We have a conference here. I'm not sure now. Fabricki did land on the ball. I'm not sure if they blew it dead, but he did end up losing it, and Laurel Highlands then dove on it.
I don't put that one on Fabricki though at all.
No, not at all.
Larkin, I understand the logic that, hey, I have a guy right there, I'm going to pitch it out. But, you have to be wise and maybe cut your losses and, hey, we're just trying to get out of this game clean.
Absolutely.
Because, that puts Fabricki in danger as well.
Yes.
Because you could tell he wasn't expecting that.
Heat of the moment, it happens.
Yeah.
That's kind
especially
of your
a young
reflex,
quarterback.
Especially when you should have a guy. I'm not saying he wasn't there, but mentality when you're running an option play, you could think you have an outlet back there. So, what do? I'm in trouble. I toss the ball back.
Now, one thing, this is a long conference by the officiating crew.
It was a live ball or it wasn't. That's what I honestly, my opinion, the way it played out on the field, they didn't blow a whistle, so I would think it's Laurel Highlands' ball because they're the ones that ended up with it.
You would think.
The offended team wishes to replay the down. Third down.
Okay.
I have not.
So apparently there was a whistle.
Inadverted.
The referee did not mean to blow the whistle in the middle of the football game.
So the defense chooses to play another third.
So the defense gets a choice, and they have selected to play third down.
And you wonder what the other options were at that point.
I am very curious at this point. 3rd and 9 from the 34-yard line. Colonials regain possession. Ball snapped. It's going to be a keeper, and there's a better option play to the right side for Fabricki. He's going to weave his way down. That's going to be very close to a first down.
And carrying the ball to the outside, number 2, Bruno Fabricki.
That's going to be close.
Brought down from behind by number 70, Lorenzo McFadden.
Waiting for a signal here. The chains are still in place. That's going to be close. And there's a first down.
They're gonna move
there's
the
a
chains.
first down.
That was a great run by Fabricki.
Absolutely. And that was a very nicely thrown ball by Larkin as well.
And Fabricki, a junior, you have to wonder if he'll start getting attention.
Yes,
from
for sure.
schools, because
for sure.
We've seen, obviously this is just the first week of this year, but, last year he was a consistent playmaker.
Absolutely. And I want to take a quick I want to backtrack just a quick second. That home game next week is against Brook. That is high school.
Okay.
That is a high school in West Virginia. They will be coming to Albert Gallatin next Friday. Ball snapped by Larkin. It's going to be a keeper to the left side. He had a nice little hole open
that
up
was
there
another
out of
option
nowhere.
play
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wisely holds on to it.
Absolutely. We're approaching the midpoint. 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Albert Gallatin hanging on to a 32-0 lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs.
And we got second down and 4 for the Colonials from the 19-yard line of Laurel Highlands. 5:55 left in the game.
And if AG can hold on to this score right now and shut out a hometown rival in week 1, that's a great start to the season.
Tommy, when was the last time, and I mean, last year it is what it is. Albert Gallatin left the Whippeals to teams like Laurel Highlands, Uniontown, even, not that they really played Connellsville or like Fraser, the local teams. When was the last time they were able to beat Laurel Highlands or Uniontown, let alone it's 32-0
and I mean,
in
we
the
saw
fourth quarter?
Last year it was an away game, so I mean, we didn't cover the game, but I was at the game, and I mean, Connellsville just kind of ran away with the game. I mean, it wasn't, this year, you're already playing one Whippeal team.
Absolutely, as we have a fumble on the play, and Laurel Highlands recovers running down the sideline. I didn't quite see who recovered that ball, but
looks like number 15.
That was a heck of an explosion. If it is 15, that is Christian Burchick.
He's been busy on both sides.
He has been busy on both sides, and that's going to be Laurel Highlands' ball. That's a return.
Okay, if you're Laurel Highlands now, here's your chance to try to build for next week.
Here's your chance. Yeah, that was an interesting sequence of events there. Now we have another conference by the referees regarding another fumble.
And you almost wonder what, like you said earlier, what
what
could the
is there to
conversation
argue?
really be? Yeah.
What is there to argue? And I'm not really sure about the defense. The offense keeps the ball, even though the defensive player had it, but then the defense gets to decide what happens. It is what it is. Laurel Highlands will keep possession of the ball. They take over 1st and 10 on the 43-yard line. Gallagher back at quarterback, and he is still on his feet, but that is not going to be a good move for him because he loses about 10 more yards just staying on his feet being wrapped up.
Tackle for a loss, number 21.
Tommy, he is taking a beating this game.
And it's still fun to watch it because, he tries everything to get free.
He does. And he like we said earlier, he is getting beat down, but it's nothing that he's doing incorrectly.
No, and for him to even have what looked like him maybe going to get free there is impressive.
Absolutely. Yeah. He had a chance until another Colonial came, and it took that long as Gallagher remains at quarterback. He whips a pass over to the right side. It's going to be a reception by number 14, DeMonte Kiss.
That was a nice-looking play.
It was a nice-looking play.
And he had time. That's the big thing right there.
Yeah, he had plenty of time, and he airs it out, and he completes it.
Calculator number 3, Antonio Effort.
4:16 left in the fourth quarter, 32-0 Albert Gallatin lead over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. Looking at about a 3rd and 15, 16 because of those loss of yards by Gallagher initially. That's a false start by the Mustangs. That's going to be a false start on number 6 of the Mustangs, Terrence Thomas Brown.
Number 6, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Started running on that left side before the ball was snapped.
And like we said before, that's a 3rd down penalty.
That's a 3rd down penalty, which now makes it, I'd say 3rd and
16 maybe?
Oh, it's farther than that,
18
Tommy.
maybe?
It's close to 20. It's close
20.
to 3rd and 20, yeah. 3rd and 20 from the 48. They worked all the way back. Gallagher back. Took the shotgun snack. He's running out of time. Albert Gallatin trying to chase him down. He's going to whip the ball out, but to no avail. It is caught. It is a reception by Jaden Pratt, but his momentum took him out of bounds.
And I feel like you have to go for it.
You have to go for
Highlands.
it. Yes, absolutely. It's 3:41 left in the fourth quarter. You haven't been in the end zone at all. It's time to keep going for it.
And it looks like Chambers is going to come back in the game.
Chambers is coming back into the game for the 4th and 17 for the Mustangs. And Tommy, I mean, these 3rd and 4th downs, they haven't been, I mean, occasionally they're 3rd and 4, 3rd and 7.
They're not manageable.
4th and 17. I've seen 3rd and 17, 4th and 15. You know, they've been insane. Chambers puts the man in motion. And we have a flag.
False start.
Let's see, that's going to be a penalty on the Mustangs yet again.
I mean, especially when you're trying to draw the defense off sides, you have to have it in your head. I am not going to move.
Absolutely.
I am not going to move.
You're the one that knows that it's coming.
Ball comes back to the 45-yard line of Laurel Highlands. 3:41 left in the game.
Well, 4th and 22. How manageable is that one, Robbie?
Well, with guys like Gallagher, you have a
I mean, it's possible.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to rule it out. I'm just saying you're not helping your cause.
It does look like we're going to switch to a punt now. Zachary Layton back for the Mustangs. He gets the ball away.
Wow.
Nice punt.
Colonials had nobody back
Nice
there.
Laurel Highlands bounce. Well, it's
Yeah, I mean, understandable.
that's okay.
And punting the ball, number 42, Zachary Layton.
I mean, if anything, you want guys up because you don't want to have a fake punt.
Hey, if that ball bounces into the end
Yeah,
zone,
who
let that ball
cares?
bounce into the end zone. If that ball's down at the 1 yard line, let that ball be down at the 1 yard line.
And you have a truck at running back. So, I mean, if you're backed up to the 3-4 yard line, let him punch it through, get a couple yards, and have some breathing room.
That's it. Albert Gallatin going to take over probably one last time here. We have 3:27 left in the fourth quarter. And Tommy, if the energy on this Laurel Highlands sideline, I'm surprised it could have went down again. But these guys are
frustrated.
They are beat down.
And rightfully so. I mean, I understand.
Albert Gallatin snaps the ball. Looks like it's going to be a handoff to the right side. Laurel Highlands sniffs that out pretty quickly. Minimal gain, if any.
That play did its job, though.
Absolutely.
Clock's moving.
Clock's moving.
Tackle made by number 59 of the Mustangs, Max Rockwell.
It's going to end up being a 2nd and 9 from the 14. We're approaching 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Ball placed at the 14-yard line of Albert Gallatin.
Tommy, the way the Colonials moved this ball now, mind you, they have Robinson out of the game. We switched him with Larkin. So not quite where they started in the game.
No.
But, you know, they're at a position now. I mean, 2:45 and counting, that's nothing to burn the clock.
No. This offense is designed to eat up time.
Absolutely.
And yardage.
See, it looks like a keep from Larkin.
And on the quarterback keeper, number 7.
Nice little chunky yard.
Larkin's a little bigger than Robinson. It's definitely showing.
He definitely, let's see if we can get the actual. So Quentin Larkin, we're looking at a 5'9", 155-pound sophomore. Tristan Robinson is 6 foot 175. So Tristan Robinson actually listed at 6 feet. He does not appear.
No, that's, I mean, unless I'm just seeing it wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, to me.
I have 6 feet 175.
I stand corrected.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Albert Gallatin really taking their time here. We're down to 1:45 left in this game. There's our snap.
Goes
Play
nowhere.
blown up pretty easily. That brings us to, that was a 3rd and 2. That brings us to a 4th down.
And with 3rd and 2, if you can get the first or 4th, they didn't change the clock yet. 4th and 1, all you have to do is just punch it 1 yard. I mean,
we know whose number you can call for a 1 yard run.
One more stop for him, and you know he could call it a night pretty much.
Absolutely.
And we got 3rd down and 1 for the Colonials. Ball placed at the 22-yard line.
4th and 1. Minute left.
And
from
Loring's
the
not
22.
even in the game, so I mean, it's
Well, hey, that's okay,
Yeah.
too. Got a man in motion.
call a timeout.
We're calling a timeout. Definitely looked like a little confusion,
Yeah.
not too comfortable back, and Larkin not too comfortable back in that quarterback position. But take a timeout here and see if we can get this extra yard, see if we get a little more
All
comfortable.
spectators and parents, please return to your vehicles at the conclusion of today's game. Please leave the stadium immediately after the game and return to your vehicles.
Yeah, and you can see while we're waiting, Laurel Highlands trying to regroup and just trying to find a positive.
Yeah, Tommy, this was a tough one for the Mustangs. Gonna get ready to see what the Colonial offense can do. 4th and 1. Ball snap gonna be, looks like a keeper to the left side.
And they're going to eat it up.
They're gonna eat it up.
And on the keeper, number 7, Quentin Larkin.
Smart play.
Tackle
See,
made
he
by
does
James
not pick
Pratt
up the
and
first
number
down, but
61.
that is okay nonetheless. Laurel Highlands will take over with a 1st and 10 on the 22-yard line. 42 seconds left in the game.
And if you're Laurel Highlands, the only thing you want at this point is to punch
At around the 20-yard
something into
line,
the end zone.
You definitely want to leave here with some points.
If the shutout can be avoided, you definitely want to have that.
Absolutely. Laurel Highlands offense comes out one last time. Looks like Chambers is back at quarterback. We have Gallagher back in that slot receiver
It
position.
looks like AG's playing a prevent 4 coverage.
Passes out. Down to Burchick.
And he's just carrying Colonials.
Yeah, that's fine.
And they're going to call a timeout.
Catch is made by number 15,
We do have a
Christian
timeout,
Burchick.
Laurel
Tackle made
Highlands,
number
32
Antonio
seconds to
Pepper.
go.
Number 21, James Marvin.
Timeout. Laurel Highlands.
And, I mean,
They're first.
we won't get to see Laurel Highlands in the future this year, but you have to wonder. I mean, we saw 2 different offenses, 2 different approaches on that side of the ball. You have to wonder what they're going to carry the rest of the year because there were highlights in both. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's very difficult to jump back and forth with
Yes.
schemes.
Yes.
So that's just something to kind of leave out there, I guess, for us.
Right.
Now, as for the Colonials, I think you don't change anything up going into next week.
No, absolutely not. Especially like we said, we kind of shift back to non-local teams. Brook High School in West Virginia for the Albert Gallatin Colonials next week. That's going to be a good one to test it out, to see if that works for teams outside of this area just as well as it worked for teams here, being Laurel Highlands, as they snap the ball. Chambers is back, lobs up a pass to the end zone, and that pass is broken up.
Good defense.
Great defense. Great defense.
And that was a good throw by Chambers, though. I mean,
That was a nice throw by Chambers, and Gallagher was lined up, ready to receive it.
Pass
But
to complete
in
to
double
number
coverage, you're
15,
not
Double
going to have
coverage.
that successful.
double coverage, but you kind of have to expect that on a guy like Rodney Gallagher.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have the safety favoring whatever side he's on, and you're going to have tight man-to-man coverage, most likely.
Absolutely. 26 seconds to go. 2nd and 7 from the 7-yard line. 2nd and goal, if you will. Ball is back in the shotgun. Quick fire, and the ball's
almost
dropped. It was
intercepted.
in his hands.
Pass to complete
It
to
was
Ricky
in
almost
the-
had a second interception. in the end
Absolutely,
zone,
that
too.
would have been something for the Colonials.
That would have killed
Oh
the
my!
Mustangs morale. I mean, that would have just been a dagger
Now
if
here
there
we
hasn't already been a couple.
Oh, absolutely. 3rd and goal. Now, technically, it's a 3rd and 7, so we have another 3rd and long here for the Mustangs. That is right through the hands of Lucas Let's see if they can come away with a score. 22 seconds to go, so we got plenty of time. Ball's back in the shotgun. It's a quick handoff, weaving up the middle, and he is stopped fairly immediately. And that is going to keep the clock rolling with 13 seconds to go, and we have some whistles.
Another timeout by Mustangs.
That was Angelo Gotti, and that results in a timeout for the Mustangs. So they are going to stop the clock.
13 seconds.
We're looking at a 4th and 6. 4th and goal from the 6-yard line, 13 and a half seconds to go is where the Mustangs were able to stop the clock. Like we said, Tommy Albert-Gallatin just looking for some way to get some points on the board. They have one final chance. 4th and goal from the 6-yard line. 13 and a half seconds to go. If this does not get it in the end zone, Albert-Gallatin will let the clock expire. Chambers back. He rolls out to the right side. He's sacked. Oh, and that is a huge blow.
That's how you want to end this game.
That is an incredible way for Albert-Gallatin to end that game, end this game.
Yep. That was the best game I've seen AG play top to bottom.
Incredible game on all three sides of the ball.
And when I say that, I mean about every part of it, including who you're playing. I mean, that's a big factor. We've seen them in games last year where they put up big numbers against teams that, weren't from the area, smaller school. I mean, you're playing the hometown rival where 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this would have been a blowout. I mean, it would have been.
Oh, they were wiping the floor with these guys. And, Tommy, not to mention, I have not seen a sideline just this.
Yeah, distraught.
And there is a knee for the final play of the game. Clock expires, and that is a 1-0 record for the Albert-Gallatin Colonials. Laurel Highlands drops the game to Albert-Gallatin 32-0.
That hurts.
That is painful. 32-0 is the final from York Run Stadium.
Next week, Albert-Gallatin will be home here again at Colonial Field at 7 p.m.
We are looking at a home game for Albert-Gallatin next week at 7 o'clock against Brook. Not too sure about Laurel Highlands, but they have some things to work on. But
I'm not sure what's going on.
Not sure either. I think it's just a little bit of jawing back and forth between the two teams.
What you like to see, I mean, that's a hometown game. I mean,
nothing
you
physical.
You want to have that. Yeah, I mean, it's a big game for both sides, and one team won and one team lost.
Absolutely, but I think that does it for us, Tommy, this week. That's a 32-0 Albert-Gallatin win over the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. I want to give a quick shout out to everybody watching, streaming online. Last time I looked, there was 134 people watching, so much appreciated to everybody watching. I am Rob Flockovich alongside Tommy Victor, and we will see you next time from York Run Stadium.